Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All
for
right.
the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You're now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kumar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kumar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon. Simon's, for the listeners, he's
brain
doing
exploding.
mind blown. What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernon's. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. First, obviously, Kumar, condolences. Same old lines. Same old lines.
Well, that's why I've realized the more you boast and go on about how great everything's going to be and what you're going to do, the more it hurts if something like this happens. And I think that's part of being mature.
See, that's kind of what was nice for me is like losing to you guys in week 18 was almost like a playoff game. So losing that, I was already downtrodden. You know what I mean? Going in, I had no hopes.
Oh no, I feel like a scout. I feel like a scout looking for next year, just looking for what I could see. I still follow the process, but yeah, thanks.
Can I ask you one question? Do you obviously, I know it's an easy question to answer. You keep Dan Campbell?
I think so. Yeah. He said it's his fault. It wasn't blaming on the ref. There were not a lot of holding calls on Washington. I guess they did a really good job, but no.
You want to go over the guests? Or wait, do we have a new patron?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you, but big shout out to Alfie McNally.
Alfie!
From across the pond, no less. Hello.
Thank you, Alfie.
Stick it in your eye, governor.
That was incredible. What a fucking bang on. Stick in your eye, governor.
It was Peaky Blinders. I was like fucking confused. I altered to a different reality for a second.
Big shout out to Brian.
Brian.
Thank you,
Shout
Brian.
out Brian.
Dare I say Red Band? That's fucking amazing.
Obviously, we got a shout out on some other
Unbelievable,
podcasts, so
unbelievable.
anything's possible.
That's true, we did, yeah.
On the, I don't even remember the name.
I always feel like less of a shout out when you're mentioned beside Hawk Tua, but
Well, we got mentioned on another podcast right beside Hawk Tua on Stiff Socks.
this guy is not. This
Dude,
guy
I'm
doesn't
gonna
listen.
smack
He
this
doesn't
kid.
listen. He does
can't
not.
anymore. I don't know if you've noticed, Maddie.
Yeah.
But ever since, I mean, he's always been kind of insufferable.
Yeah.
As you know, after 5.5 years of doing this podcast, but since he got his new wheels, it's like to the nth degree. Like, have you noticed he will not be interrupted anymore? I don't know if it's like
I
a
just got
conscious
interrupted there. So
decision that he's made, but like, you know, sometimes just for the benefit of a conversation, you have to acquiesce.
Yeah.
He will never acquiesce anymore. He is like a bull in a china shop of words.
really negative energy you put out there, Simon.
Blazer Kamar drives a car.
Exactly.
I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, it's hard.
Do you want to go over the guest?
Get
Kamar?
it down there.
Thank you to all the Patreons. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, thank you to all you.
Share
Shout out.
episodes. Tell your friend. Leave a comment. New comments are really beneficial. Thank you very much.
I like the way he said, "Tell your friend," like he knows anyone who listens to this
no,
podcast
that's-
can only have but the one.
That's what we've always said. You just have to tell one friend. Now that TikTok is back, you can talk to your farmers, please.
Chat.
You want people to clip farm.
Chat. Oh, yeah. Chat. Get on those clips.
But with
On
TikTok
God.
almost being gone, it was
dicey.
And are you sure you didn't just see some fake news there? Because I thought that what's his name had been traded to the Timberwolves this weekend, like it was a done deal
Who?
Yes, I thought LeBron
Jimmy
James
Butler?
went to the Golden State Warriors.
with his son.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, those look real to me.
But what?
No, what's his name from the Heat? Butler.
Jimmy Butler. That's what I said.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. I zoned you.
Two
out.
things.
Yes, you
two
did.
things. Two things. My young friend. TikTok is not banned in Canada where we are.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not
we embrace the Chinese thievery.
I'm not gonna notice anything.
Well, do you think you're watching purely Canadian content? It's all coming from the States. Nobody's going to make it if it doesn't exist.
I'm gonna push back on that and say when I started my TikTok journey,
Yeah, I know.
it was all Chinese girls dancing to cute songs that you would never hear, and it morphed into something.
I think
Wait,
that's just your feed.
Can I finish? I dare say
There's keys in the air.
there's so much content on TikTok you could not tell. It was not
If
getting
America
more
went away, yeah.
content added unless it was a particular creator and you went through their whole catalog.
I like-
too much.
I love the idea of like a black market underground TikTok mansion somewhere in the States where it's like
VPNs.
it's just 50, yeah, all doing dances, the Dougie.
I thought they'd all just
The renegade.
they all run across the border like junkies.
Oh my
That's
god.
not funny. The third time I've said it.
No, it's still hitting the wall.
Sure, I'd love to. I guess I'll give the week. Oh no, I should say who it is first. We start off the week with 2256, Protect Our Parks 14.
14.
Followed by 2257, The Return of Brian Callen. Then with 2258, our favorite hunter, outdoorsman, extraordinaire, Stephen Ranella.
You sound so excited about all this.
And then somehow,
And then
through a period, dimension, someone came to us, 2259, Thomas Campbell, author of My Big Toe.
I said that the biggest disservice ever done on this podcast is that Joe didn't do a 5-hour with this guy and a 3-hour with Protect Our Parks.
You're right.
it is very interesting if you really think about how staunch he is with the time, almost across the board. Like everyone gets
Except
yeah, everyone gets 3 hours. Most people lately get 2.
2.5 if you're lucky.
Yeah. And then for some reason, yeah, there's like a
Mike Baker gets 5.
I'm
and
going to
Protect Our
push
Parks
back. I'm
gets
going to
5.
push back and
There's a
say
lot of pushing back too.
he said this is a lot. And we could keep talking probably for 10
Should
more
have done
hours.
2 episodes.
Wait, maybe we will, but
maybe we will.
He's just an avatar playing a guy with a stutter.
much like in the concept, too much is a bad thing.
Yes, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. So there's that.
He was willing to leave the door open that his whole thinking was based on a system that maxes out at whatever, like 8 billion people.
Let's not get into numbers for again in the episode. there, Simon.
Sorry.
Yeah, Simon. Rate the week.
Oh, wow. This is tough, man.
I'll give it a 3.
There's no way. 2.5 tops. Even if you're going to give one a 5. This week.
That's what I'd have to do, even if I was,
Uh,
because I'm
Simon,
going as
I know
close
you're
to
gonna-
5 as possible.
Yeah, and then you're going to absolutely
And then
shit on the other
I
3.
have
You're going
to,
like ones across the board after
I
that.
mean, Protect Our Parks is always kind of fun. So let's say I give that like a 2.5. And then I give Brian Callen like a solid 2.
Yeah.
I could even give it a 2.5 because I find him interesting.
Yeah.
And then Ranella gets like a 1 or a 1.5.
So your average is at 2.5.
And then a 4.9.
yeah, your average is 2.5.
Okay, there we go. 2.5. You guys got to see how the fucking pepperoni was made. Clip that, farm boys.
Thanks, chat.
It's going to be like a trivia question in 20 years. Like, clippers of this podcast were known as farm boys. What is the Joe Rogan experience?
I think that has to be the name if we ever have like a
Yeah.
group of people.
Yeah. Well, it's like how rappers had street teams. We have farm boys. Yeah. All you farm boys and girls out there, we owe you guys all our success. I'll give it a 2.5. Sure.
Fuck.
I forgot to ask, did you guys watch Dave Chappelle on SNL last night?
No. Was he on SNL?
Yeah, I didn't know. He hosted.
Wow,
obviously.
there was no fucking advo for that, eh?
He was talking about the LA.
Advo.
What did I say
I don't,
last
what are you, a
night?
12-year-old?
did I
No
say?
Advo for that, bro.
Kabang. Oh, I'm so old.
He was talking about the LA fires and well, what's too soon or whatever, and all the crazy comments people are saying on social media about the fires and stuff. He goes, And that's why I hate poor people. Because they just don't care the same. Oh my God. It was really good. Like, and a couple of jokes, like, anyways, it was good. I had nothing to do with nothing. Nothing for nothing.
You don't want to tell us more of his
Nothing
routine?
about something.
You know what's funny is if you had told that story, Kamar would have looked at you and been like, "Oh, sick! Would have been great for the post, Joe."
Oh, dude, I should have given him that. If
Yeah.
I was any sort of comedian.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, you missed.
I'm
your
just
chance
not
there.
zoned in today.
I've been fumbling because I don't know what one we're starting with.
We're starting with the one you guys loved the most.
Yeah, we're starting with
2259, Thomas Campbell.
Yeah.
Thomas Campbell. What a fucking podcast this was. I mean, you must have slept through this, Matt.
I know I did. And you know what
because-
bothers me the most about it is now I know too. Normally I sleep through them, and you guys are like,
We don't even notice.
you guys are like
Yeah.
total dud bullshit episode. I'm like, oh, listen, I missed the last 40 minutes. Don't even care. This one, I'm like, as if I have to go back.
This is your fucking wet dream. Like,
Yeah.
if any episode was made for you,
Simon,
this is your episode.
I remember listening. You know where you're listening and you're like trying your hardest, like stay awake. This is you.
I would never suggest this, Matt, because you know I don't really like this podcast, ours and Joe Rogan's.
What?
But I could not suggest to you
Yeah, I'm
more
gonna have to. I
that
know.
you go back and listen to
know.
this episode because it was absolutely incredible.
So just to get you up to speed there,
I've told you, I probably only missed like half of it.
Thomas W. Campbell is an American physicist, lecturer, and author born on December 9th, 1944. He holds a Bachelor of Science and Master of Science degrees in physics. Early in his career, Campbell worked as a systems analyst with U.S. Army Technical Intelligence for a decade before transitioning to research and development in defensive missile systems. He spent nearly 30 years as a contractor within the U.S. missile defense community and later worked with NASA on the Ares 1 program, focusing on risk and vulnerability assessments to ensure mission and crew safety. I think that's very important because they don't talk about that at all.
That probably could have been saved for the post, Joe.
Really?
No,
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
it's my attempt at comedy. Yeah, I guess that he's a really. I never question this guy's validity because I don't care. Everything he said made so much fucking sense.
Ideas matter.
Yeah, ideas matter. And like, look, maybe if it's coming from Greta Thunberg, I'm not as receptive as the guy with the cool drawl. You know what I mean? But it was fucking incredible, dude. It was incredible when he was talking about the universe being formed, like the idea of the system forming the universe, and think of it as like a chat room of consciousnesses. And then when you get enough consciousness together, that chat room isn't big enough, and then it has more computing power to then get the universe right. Dude, I was like, this is fucking nuts.
And it's also sort of the closest, defining explanation of the
Everything.
simulation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hardest way to just go bring it down or whatever.
No, it's the
The
easiest
simulate,
way,
but
right?
simulation, that word is sort of like a hurdle. Where system, and I think that's the only thing that changes there, makes it so much easier, like to sort of buy into.
How did Joe not ask him? Because this was driving me crazy. He's like, so we're a computer system. We're just a matrix running.
Yeah.
There are multiple matrices all fucking layered upon layered upon layered. We're in the one that matters most because it's the most organized. And that's what this system wants, is organization. It wants, I forget what the word was, but it's order.
Harmony.
And that order comes through love. Love and caring and all those things. And where was I going? Oh, yeah. Sorry. So this system that we're a part of that is like appearing before your eyes only when it matters. Like you don't have a brain in your head, Matt, unless we decide to cut your head open.
Yeah.
At which point that brain will, because it's important enough to Kamar and I, that it would fucking appear. So fucking weird. Anyways, sorry. I digress. This thing we're in, which is so amazing the way he described it. Consciousness is God. God was made to run in this program. Who the fuck made the program? Like, What's his explanation? He obviously has one. He's thought this thing out to the nth degree. But who's above consciousness? Because if consciousness is the drive of the program, and it's also the player inside our avatar. Because you're just a piece. And that was cool too. Sorry, I'm all over the place. But he was like, religion gets it right until all the dogma gets in the way. But like, we are a chip off the old block. We are, what do they say? In God's image.
I mean, Simon, it could be, this is a weird one, but like, I remember the PlayStation like 3 had this option where when you weren't playing, you could leave it on and hooked up to the internet, and it would give your PlayStation computing power to this server at a university. And they were I can't remember what they were trying to do. There was like, you go to the website and look, but you could, like, when you were idle, give your computing power to this. And it could be something like that, where maybe the system wasn't specifically built to build like a universe. It's just like a blank slate that when it gets turned on, like, think about it like this, like 100 years from now, computing could be insane. And you just create a blank slate. And the more people go in there, the more computing power there is.
Yeah, that's what he was saying.
No, I know that's what he was saying. But then I'm saying, like, just that in and of itself creates a consciousness and a universe. Like, the more people joining, like he said.
No, I totally get that. But like, what?
Well, it could be like
we're a program.
Yeah. It could be like a Bitcoin thing.
It's just a like ever evolving chain of
someone created this code and they put it out there.
Well, his
and
concern
everyone
is someone.
Yeah, so who is someone?
Yeah. No, and that's why I said it's like Bitcoin, where it's like Satoshi Nakamoto. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's Satoshi, but for this, because it's a blockchain is another way you can describe it, or a consciousness is a co-op.
Joe just never asked him the
question you
No,
wanted
because
him
it's
to ask.
mind-blowing shit, man. Your jaw's on the floor.
I get it, but they were right there. Like, they were talking about exactly what I'm saying, and then Joe just never thought to and he was like,
That's because the program has Joe stuck on, like, he's still ape brain, so he can't ask the question. It's like a fail-safe within the program.
But this is the guy that talked to a goat.
Oh, is he? Really?
Well, he's in that Men Who Talk to Goats, right?
he remote viewed.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
That is based on this guy, from what I understand.
Yeah.
I don't think it was based on him.
No,
but he
him-
worked
him
in that.
Okay, I
Existing
thought he
his-
was saying for sure it was like him.
And I think it is. And
No, it's a different guy. I've heard that guy speak, Kamar.
this guy worked with that guy, I thought.
Okay, well, maybe.
Kamar's Blazer says different.
Apparently.
I'll see what I today.
Kamar, you have to drive your idea home.
It's amazing
Wah, wah.
where memories come in life. Like, sometimes I can remember sitting on my couch and watching Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and see his sweater and just remember him coming in the room, you know what I mean? More than I can remember something that happened 2 years ago. Like, where
Why is
the
that
memory
burnt into your mind?
Or I can just draw on that easier. And I was going to, I didn't have it for the post show, but they're not sure, like, time is even the way we mention. And if what this guy says is true, it's true. Elon's an idiot.
An idiot.
And just doing what? Like, it's got to be obvious that
He's doing the opposite of what
the propulsion thing is stupid. We think just in the same way we think if we get rid of all gas, we'll save the planet. We think if we can get fast enough, we can go anywhere, and that's just not the situation. I mean, he blew up a rocket the other day.
the stars are lights in the sky like that because that's as binary as it has to be to fool you into thinking that there's something out there. But then there is something out there if you decide to go.
Well, you have to go for there to be something.
It's only gonna go. Yeah, it's fucking weird.
And then I saw this thing the other night, and it was Juno.
the fucking movie,
No, Juno, the
Alaska?
satellite,
Oh, okay.
has apparently gotten to Jupiter. Apparently got really close to the moon, and we know more about this moon and the volcano and the lakes on it than we know. Like, and it's all computer graphics. But the amount of bullshit that, I mean, you could believe that this satellite that's I think 1 billion miles away is transmitting this stuff back that you know this much fucking detail you don't know about what's on the. Like, come on,
You know what was interesting?
Come on.
He was saying
isn't it too much?
this system needs probability. That's like how it fuels itself.
Yeah.
You as a human being have the most options in any given situation of any creature on earth. And the lower you go down, wolf, whatever,
Less choices.
those options exist, they just can't see them. So if a wolf walks up onto a man, he sees five options, run,
Yeah.
kill,
Yeah.
shit, whatever. When you walk up to a man, you probably see
10 million options.
well, no, your brain can
10,000.
only
Yeah,
handle,
yeah.
and probably not that many. You probably can focus on like 25 options. And one day we'll be like a computer person who can see infinite options. No, not, but like to the 10,000 degree, and that still won't be enough.
Oh, I guess you bored him. He's yawning.
Yeah.
No, he didn't bore me. I just don't.
So it's like ideas matter. Our definition of reality is if you can manipulate it, break it, touch it, whatever. And he says that he was able to see errors just in his head. In is it Scantron cards? I think that's what he's saying.
Punch hole cards.
Punch cards, but I think these punch cards were sort of like for programming, not like for
Oh, I thought they were like,
Scantron.
oh, maybe. I don't know.
And he, obviously it's difficult to prove it, but he says this is what he found out, and that he came into existence to tell people this. It's a little Jesus-y, but it makes a lot of sense.
Well, it has to do with how many like systems you've run or whatever, past lives you've lived. So he's done that a lot. He's accumulated a lot of information and is able to come back now in this virtual reality as a guy who can help tell other people.
But this is a harmony thing, and the idea of it is so crazy. If every single person, this is sort of a dumb way to say it, paid it forward.
Yeah.
Every single person paid it forward in 1 second. If like a trust fall, everyone would be just feeling the same way, like, oh, someone has my back. This sort of support thing. Then I don't know what that means, but I think it's like the singularity would happen, and it would be just through consciousness, not through mechanical machines.
Well, I wonder if that's what DMT is then, Kamar. It's like peeling back the skin of this virtual reality and you see the grid almost, and it's telling you that it's all love.
Which
that's
what I
is
told
what
you.
you told me. And that would make sense, right? Because this guy said time as we know it exists, like the idea of traveling at the speed of light or any faster than we can travel is because this virtual reality consists on a grid, and that grid is separated into whatever squares of time, and you can only go so fast per square of time unless you can teleport, in which case that's something different. But that's why
Kamar, you should try.
that's why the DMT thing makes sense to me, because you're like peeling back this fake skin to see just the framework.
You should start some sort of online campaign where, like, I don't know, on June 8th, everyone in the world finds one person, and in unison at the exact same time, everyone goes, "You look good today."
Well,
you know what I mean? Just positive.
I
just
know.
8 billion people putting positive energy out into the world.
Of course, but it's almost like if one person doesn't do it, it doesn't work.
I know, but
It's
so you try.
it's
Yeah,
that
but we.
finicky.
Yeah, I know, but hear me
And
out.
Which leads him to say, if we get it down to 100,000 people, this is manageable. We might be able to get everyone.
That's what Bill Gates is trying to
Well,
do.
he was saying too many people might be a problem.
Well, sorry.
No.
He was saying that at like 9 billion people, which is probably where we're at now, if you start adding like a couple of 100,000 people or even a couple of people, is that going to help the program do its job better? No, you're just creating more seats for less outcome because he feels that we are the pinnacle and that any more people than this is just superfluous at this point.
Everything I've heard says we will never make it to 9 billion people.
Whatever it is, he was saying what we're at now.
Yeah,
8 billion people.
Well, it's a population on the same page because, as he said, our culture has put more value in intellect than intuition. Over the course of, that's what gets us to big buildings and planes and everything in capitalism. But that's not really important. Like that sort of thing where you say, I wish everyone had all the money in the world could see that that's not important.
Yeah.
But we're way too lost. I hate to bring up Jimmy Carter again, but he made that speech about he made a speech pleading for this sort of thinking, and then it was like, get the fuck out of here. So
Yeah, later peanut farmer.
what this guy says might be 100% true, but I think it's 100% unattainable. And so that's the problem. That's the only problem with this podcast.
I don't think it's unattainable. I think that, it just takes the right type of movement. You get a guy into like a role, president, whatever, who that's their whole thing is about love, and they fucking just switch the whole, like, imagine Trump had been a guy who like was nice and pleasant and like wanted to uplift people.
What if he is, and it's just been the media's portrayal for 5, 6, 7 years of him?
No,
that's
no, I
created
saw-
this.
I saw him
The
talking about-
Apprentice.
Yeah, but that's TV again.
No,
It's,
no,
Get outta here.
no.
it's all an act.
No, get out of here.
Well, this is the negativity that's going to keep us down.
Yeah, that's
No, but
it.
this, according to this guy, you've lived many past lives, like whatever that means. Your player inside this stupid avatar suit has been in multiple avatar
Like,
suits
think about
over time,
internet trolls.
which is kind of comforting.
A little bit.
Well, he thinks that you're going to go to a different body when you die.
Yeah, that you
and-
get to come back and do this whole stupid thing over again.
and you're trying to make choices that are going to get you closer to what Kamar's talking about, which is something I think you have to show with action, not
Well,
with,
okay, so this is a thing. Like, you have choices that you have to make all the time. Every time you make that choice, you have to make the choice with love and not hate. And a lot of people, this is something, 70% of murders in England are between like 16 and 24 and involve alcohol. It's just, and so that they're not smart, or they're not fully developed. Sorry, as we know, you know what I mean. And they're drinking, and they've got testosterone or just hormones, whatever. You're that young guy. So is it evil? It's not, but
alcohol's a weird one though, Because it can
100%, I said that last week.
boost your love threshold, but it can also go the other way and make you like super mean and beat your wife
think that's a
and beat
misnomer.
your kids.
I think it
and-
never boosts. It has nothing to do with love. It's more depression,
no, but
and you get sentimental.
I know people who get way nicer when they're drunk than what they are in real life.
yeah,
I think no, but okay, so you're both right. I think it's the first couple of drinks, and then the drop off just goes to negativity.
And even the love could be totally disingenuous because they don't even remember what they're saying. So it doesn't end well. But
It's just in general, I don't think it's possible to do this podcast justice and talking to it. It's almost like you need to be listening to it and reacting to
breaking
it.
it down as
yes,
Yeah.
yes, this is an actual.
Because I listened to it
transfer of
this
energy.
morning and I can hardly remember
well, the problem
half
too,
the things
The
he
problem
said.
too is that he has a master's in physics, and we're fucking dummies.
Yeah, but he spoke normal language. He hardly even talked math at all. You know
No,
what I
it
mean?
was very simple. And
yeah,
like,
it was
like
very
you said,
simple.
I still find it. Okay.
Simple truths have no assumptions and are elegant and simple.
No, you got that wrong.
Truths, real
truths.
truths have no assumptions, are elegant and simple. Consciousness can affect the physical cannot affect consciousness.
And that's how we know that consciousness is what matters and it's coming this way. You know what I'm saying? It's not an exchange between the two of them where they both matter. This one doesn't matter. That one matters, which is a really kind of interesting idea. And then like they got into sleep for a second And I was telling these guys, I mean, they ignored me last night, but I had this dream the other night. You know, when you have a dream that's so fucking real, like there's no hijinks to it. There's no weird shit. It is just, you are living like another life, and you don't get those. I woke up in the morning, dude, feeling like I could remember it all so clearly. I didn't write it down, obviously, but it was gone by midday. I couldn't hardly remember it. I just could remember it was poignant, but like a whole other fucking life.
Well, you did. He's saying
different
you
kids,
did.
different wife, different job, different world, different like.
He's saying you did.
I know, it's fucking weird, man. It's weird. And he's saying that dreams are just a different virtual reality that isn't as well formed as this one. So
Wrap
the
your fucking head
rules
around
don't.
that, yeah.
But you can be in different stages of dreams. Like think of it as like, or this is how I thought of it when he said it, like one of those slide.
Yeah, projector.
No, like having a box of slides where each one has a picture of the picture on it. You know what I'm saying? To make a 3-dimensional image.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
What do
like,
they call those? Where you light them from the back, and it's like, yeah, I know. What you're
each
talking about.
reality
Yeah.
gets like further and further away from the source reality, and as it gets further away, it's like less stable, I guess. I don't know. And that's why some dreams are so weird, and some of them are just like living a different. Anyways, Joe kind of dropped the ball on that one because dreaming
Well, dreams are fucked.
should have. And he didn't ask. Like I would have asked. Okay, so what's the deal with the pyramids then? You know what I mean? If this is all
Or dinosaurs.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Okay.
whoa, 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 whoa. What if this is what I was thinking? There have been times where they hit this.
where they got it, yeah,
There was that many people. They're all on the same page.
yeah.
Everyone was happy. There was,
Totally.
which
and maybe
bleeds
that's how we do things like the
Ranella spoke of it in his podcast, which he for sure stopped through. But there was this time when there's,
podcast stank.
if you have so much abundance, there's no reason to war. Scarcity is sort of like something that feeds attacking and then hatred and not being loving. But when they're in a time of abundance and there was not that many people that were jealous of what you have or whatever, maybe it's possible. So and then anything can be accomplished when you're in the. But the second someone says, I don't think anyone likes me, the whole thing goes, the big rock falls on 4,000
So doesn't it feel like the hippie movement might have been right there, and then the fucking CIA just came in and was like,
Yeah, they're getting pretty close to the resonance.
snuff-
We got to get
snuff
in
that
there.
out. And then that goes back to the
Eleusinian dreams.
mysteries.
Mysteries,
You know,
sorry,
those
yeah.
schools
Yeah.
where it was the women who would go around and teach people about psychedelics to bring them back to this source.
We're talking
and
about Brian Murray
they were
Rescue.
always snuffed out by like the powers that be, the Knights Templar, the fucking whoever's, you know, because that shit can't go on. We can't let them get too close to
It can't hit the resonance.
source.
Yeah.
it won't matter unless it's everyone. So I would like to think that they are disrupting the hippie movement because they think, oh, the powers that be, they.
But you'll love this.
Don't
But
want
it can't
to.
be
Wait.
everyone until it's some people. You know what I mean? Like nobody believed fucking Christianity until.
But you'll love this, Kamar. What about meditation? If everyone was meditating at the same time, couldn't we all like?
Yes. That I think that's what we're
Well,
suggesting.
we could meet on another plane. He said that him and Dennis McKenna did that. or Terrence
if
McKenna.
every single person was awake,
I just love the idea of the
sat down, crisscross applesauce.
Just
the
kumbaya,
same-
just-
so just say kumbaya. Sure, let's say that at 12 o'clock. I think it would do something
In time,
that would blow everyone's mind.
You nailed it on the head. That will never happen. But you know what might happen is in times of abundance, we are able to focus all of us collectively on if you have everything you want, you're not going to worry about that other guy and what he has and you don't have and trying to keep him down with your thoughts.
Yes, but
you know?
again, it's everybody, which like
yeah, the whole
saying,
world.
in China, you see these crazy cities, and all these people are shopping at Gap and Louis Vuitton and they're clean. There's no homelessness. But if you go outside, they're like there's just dirt poor living on
We need a purge, is what you're
dirt.
saying.
Well, that's what this guy is saying.
No, but that kind of makes sense, right? Like you look at something like the Great Floods, and that's just the system righting itself. Like it realizes, oh shit, this program has gotten totally out of control. It's not going in the right direction. It's not getting closer to love and cooperation. It's actually getting further away, which is the capitalistic markets, right? Like, which drives so much of the world right now, which is what this guy said is the opposite of what we should be doing, which is why you know that guys like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, all of these guys, Zuckerberg's, the guys you praise and want to suck their dicks, are all doing the wrong thing. They are getting us no closer to love. They're getting us way further away from
I think you
love.
put a lot of negativity out there, so you can't separate yourself from those
True,
guys
you really
doing
did.
the wrong thing.
You really did just throw a ton of negativity out in the world.
But
Those guys actually have voices that matter.
No, you're projecting.
I don't.
You're
You
projecting.
know what I mean?
You're projecting.
Nobody listens to our podcast, Matt.
Israel
But
and Palestine.
Elon Musk has like billions of followers. I know. I'm not going
Have
to get
to
into this
embrace.
whole thing with you again because it really brought me down last
Russia
week.
and Ukraine have to embrace. Pakistan and India have to
Yes.
embrace. China and Japan have to embrace.
Yeah.
Texas and California have to embrace. Quebec and Alberta have to embrace. Like it's just not possible. We are so
No, that
we're
I
1,000 years away
Kamar,
from it. But that being
I
said,
agree.
I believe 100% everything these guys says true, and that's
we need a flood. That's the only rational thing at this point. There has to be a super
rapture.
volcano.
you can't
rapture.
take it personally. You can't take it personally.
That's what you're looking for.
That is correct. A rapture.
Yeah.
Look, if he is right, and we all get to come back again and try again, like what are we wasting time for here? You know what I mean?
Yeah. You might as well just fucking
Dude, this is what
unibomb this thing,
people
right?
who fucking commit suicide think. I bet.
I mean, yeah. They're like, I'm going to reset the system right here.
If you truly believed,
Yeah.
well, not you, because you're like you, but okay. Anyway,
See, he wanted to insult me, and then he was
No,
like,
no,
no,
no.
I'm putting out that negative energy
I don't
here.
want to insult anybody. If you went up to somebody who didn't like their life,
Yeah.
and said, you're going to come back and get to try this again, would they live out the rest of their 50 whatever years, or are they just like, I'm ready to try again now? You know what I mean?
No. It's even like that. If you believe you die, you shut off. That's how the program ends. It just decommissions it. If you believe you do come back, you do come
No,
back.
he didn't say that.
But that's what part of the Schrodinger's cat thing and stuff. Like that's why they think there's multiple dimensions. Things are happening at the same time.
You're trying to rationalize. Oh, okay, sure.
If you think life goes on, life goes on. If you think it doesn't, it doesn't. And the system doesn't care.
If your consciousness is all that matters,
Yes.
it is the fucking lifeblood of that meat suit, not your brain, not your heart, not any of that.
Yeah.
That is going to go back to source. You in here deciding that it's good or bad isn't going to make a lick of a difference. You know what I mean?
I disagree.
No, according to this guy, like it's going. There's a program that you go to. I forget what he called it. Your consciousness goes there when it's done here. And then it gets allocated somewhere else. They didn't get into it because Joe missed the fucking ball.
So then
again.
it doesn't matter what you believe.
Well, this guy has no proof of what he's saying.
He has no proof of what he's saying.
Yeah.
But when he breaks it down, it fills in the gaps of everything that doesn't make sense. Look, we say it all the time, like how perfect this place has to be for human beings to be able to have gotten to where we are today. It's like mind-blowing. There are 5 things that he mentions that are like essential to the earth coming to where it is now, and every single one of them is a goddamn miracle.
Yeah, but again, if the universe is infinite, then miracles aren't miracles anymore, right?
Yeah, listen, that is the opposite to what this guy is saying.
No, I understand that. I'm not trying. Listen, I'm just playing Diablo
But
Avocado here. That,
infinite, as he said, isn't real.
Isn't real.
Anything that's real cannot be infinite. It's like a paradox. You can call it the universe, but unless you make it
He called it
non-infinite, it's not
a
real.
what if then or something.
What if then?
Anyways.
I mean, even then, infinite. It doesn't have to be infinite. It can be finite, but still expanding. Like we're so small that we can't put. You know what I mean?
It makes way more sense that they're just shooting stuff up in the sky, and then it goes, okay, I can't. There's nowhere else to go because no one's rendering enough of it. It comes back down. They tried. JetBlue tried to orbit the Earth.
And
Couldn't do it. I mean, but they did it 50 years ago. I mean, it explains all that stuff. All the space stuff is explained. And maybe if enough people saw the moon there, they thought that it was more possible that it happened. Because that's what's interesting. He didn't mention that. He would say a star in the sky, but the moon is always there. And are we all just enough people projecting that?
it's just closer to us than the stars are, so they have to render it more. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. For
I was
the
really
program.
hoping how we rendered the planet flat to round, but we didn't have enough time for that one. Could you imagine if Terrence Howard was in the room?
He would have been like, I made this guy.
This is what I'm talking about. Like, it would just been.
Terrence Howard's typing as this guy's talking. He's like, patented. Patented.
They could
patented.
have destroyed Eric Epstein.
Weinstein.
Eric Epstein.
Since we are all, we're all a plug of the consciousness. Those who are saying there's nothing wrong with me, everyone else is the problem, are the problem, because it's a system we got to buy into. Again, I was like, this is it. It all lines up, and this is totally impossible and unachievable. So where does it leave us?
It's not unachievable. Simon said it. You just need some sort of
fun, okay.
some sort of element level event that leaves you with
And
like,
to survive to see what happens.
Well, and the people that do survive have to hopefully be good people.
I think the most important thing you can get from this episode would be whatever, if you believe what this guy said, this system craves order, and that order comes from people helping each other and working together and finding love. So if you can do that in your own life, that can only help.
Yeah. I mean,
It's probably not going to change anything, maybe your life.
I listened to this and then went to my staff Christmas party, and that's all I can say to everyone is like, every decision you make it with love.
What staff? Like the painting crew or?
No.
It's Kamar to
the
Barlow.
larger, the,
Well,
the larger organization.
He called me this week, which
Yeah.
is so either somebody died.
Yeah.
It was
Or-
a SOS. And
I thought, oh my God, like this is amazing. And then he just wanted to borrow a ladder. So that tells you about how.
because I was hanging off a banister, like trying to get this corner, and then you step where there's no step, and you have the freak that it hurts your whole body to the core because you clench so tight because you almost fell and broke your neck.
Oh my
Out of
God.
stupidity, and you're just like, I don't even have my phone, and I'm just here like broken on the bottom of a stairwell waiting for this Filipino chick to come back.
You need one of those fucking I fall
life
in and I
alert,
can't get
yeah.
up buttons.
Well, or
Yeah,
you
you are 50 now.
Yeah, well, that's just it. But that decision was
I
made
mean,
with love.
that-
I would
that
love
is-
to get out of there. That day.
That's dangerous though, because when you start getting old and you
any
believe you
fall,
can
yeah,
do this,
yeah.
no, not a fall. You believe your body can do the same thing it could do
When you were 20.
When you were 20, but it usually doesn't matter. It's usually you kicked a ball and you strained your leg. But when you're fucking hanging over railings, like you're just looking to start again in the new reality.
Also, you're probably heavier and a bit weaker.
You're talking about you.
Yeah. There's too many.
Agreed.
There's just way too many factors.
I'm lighter and stronger than I've ever
Yeah,
been.
Simon's more spry than he's ever been. Yeah.
So I believed him. He thought this starts with even though overpopulation is dysfunctional, people raising their children sort of under this edict to be loving and stuff. If you raise them to be doctors, lawyers, or Indian chiefs.
Well, he didn't. That was the other thing, Kamar. Joe didn't ask him, like, where do kids and procreation come into this whole thing? Like, are we supposed to have more kids, or should we not be having kids because there's already way too many people?
Yeah.
Like for real, not as a
Oh,
theological.
no,
Are there
no,
too
no,
many
no,
people?
no,
Like
no,
there
no,
are
no,
too many people in the system.
That is where I come in.
Blazer
do you
Kamar.
see
Yeah,
what's
I'm-
happening
listen,
here? I'm not wrong.
What have
He's
I
tapping the
what-
blackboard.
What have I been saying ad nauseum
About immigrants?
about everyone? yeah.
What,
About
Kamar?
everyone. We are too compassionate.
Immigrants.
No, we have to be more compassionate.
Those are slipping through the cracks. We have to push them through and then shut the crack.
No.
He
doesn't
didn't,
slip it through the
dude. He didn't listen to this guy at all. At all.
No, we are things that are being propped up just for the sake of it have to fail.
So I mean, this is actually a perfect example of
Social
why
engineering.
what this guy's saying can't happen, because no message. It's almost like the Tower of Babel, right? Where there is no message you could put out nowadays, short of Jesus Christ, assuming he was a person, levitating. You know what I mean? Like, and everyone can see it. There's no message that could get out there that everyone across the board is going to take in the same way and interpret the same way. Like you just said it. You guys both listen to the same podcast. You're like, this is what I got out of it. And Kamar's like, no, tapping the blackboard. No.
I feel like there's just like a huge group of people now, and I'm not saying that getting the liberals out of power was a bad idea, but they're like the what would Trump do people, you know,
Yeah.
instead of the what would Jesus do.
Yeah.
And they literally, like, every time they're like thinking out a decision, it's like, what would Trump do?
Yeah.
And if he wouldn't agree with the statement, then they have to like warp it to a point where like what are you talking about? What are you talking about? How did this come back to fucking immigrants and not letting people into the country?
No, I'm just humoring you because you
said we're too
can't
com-
grasp that.
We're
said we're
too
too compassionate.
compassionate,
We are
but
too
this guy
compassionate, yeah.
said we should be. That's the whole point.
No, we've gotten ourselves in this position where we're
This is like pseudo compassion.
yes, exactly. Yeah, and unless you're going to do something wholeheartedly or fully,
Yes, right. I
one leg
understand.
in, one leg out.
So we should kill all of the fucking people who don't look like us,
Yeah.
so we can be
No,
really
no.
nice to the people who look like us.
Simon. We should have. It's too late now. It's too late now. It's too late now.
Hey, farm boys, clip that.
I'm not casting any blame on anyone, but that's the thing. If it's a horrible example, but if a Palestinian parent's teaching their kid to
Yep.
hate a Jew and vice versa, that's
It's almost
just
like he edited himself there.
The
Palestinians-
it's like this. All these hateful situations are wildfires. The same way that it was a wildfire in LA, and it, like you put it out here, but if it chips over here, it'll flare up there. And the only way we could
You know how you put out fires?
fire,
With floods.
no fire.
You see, that's the problem.
Yes, and
That's the problem.
yes, and
No, you put out fires with floods.
so he suggests there are no aliens.
No, they said they were aliens.
No, he said that there's not enough. There's too many seats already. There's no reason. This could not support itself if there was.
He said that
another billion people plugged into consciousness projecting what we are doing
He said that aliens exist in this virtual reality.
in another virtual reality. That
No,
Tips over.
in this one, and they're here to tell people to awaken themselves so that they can think further than. Everybody has to realize that it's limitless, the possibilities in this virtual reality, and until we do that, we're going to be stuck in this materialistic world that we live in. But when people get to see aliens and whatever, miracles or fucking Sasquatch or whatever, these are all things that let us know that this world is way bigger than we can possibly imagine. And I guess because of the whole probability thing, probability is the drive, the more open your mind can be, the more like that I think of it as, did you ever read or see Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Mm-hmm. Their spaceship was powered by infinite probability drive.
Yeah, I remember.
So what it would do was it would feed a question into the drive, and then it would come up with every possibility possible to power them to be able to go faster in time or wherever. It's that same idea. Like, if you're limited to like, I got to wake up every morning and go to work, and my world is this big because the ceiling has come down this low, your possibilities of the important decisions you're going to make are limited. But if you open yourself up and you know, you can decide to run away from Bigfoot or not run away from Bigfoot or whatever, you know, to drive some spaceship with an alien and make bigger decisions, that's better for the program.
If everyone believes there's a Bigfoot, there's a Bigfoot. I think maybe it could be done through an artist or a video game. If they got that big that everyone loved Taylor Swift or everyone played Fortnite, even if it's that.
But we know that there's
So
nothing.
like a Jesus or a Gandhi or a
Because of poverty or whatnot.
No, just in general. Yeah, I mean, poverty is probably a big driver of it. You're right, but there's just
access, I meant.
I was thinking the other day about like, you know, like the most popular, there's no way to quantify this. Like, there's no singular thing that touches more than like.
Well, Meta, 3.4 billion.
Sure,
Unfortunately.
but hear me out. But that's like a system. That's like if I said music. Like music probably touches everyone on Earth, right? But it's a larger. No one person within music touches more than like a billion people, probably, right?
Not at this point. No.
What if, just hear me out,
Yeah.
this reality can make whatever it wants. It makes the aliens to come, like we've always talked about. They come out on, it's undeniable. You know what I mean? We can all touch them. We can see them. And they say the path forward is love and understanding and all. Like that would be enough to change the world.
I don't think it would.
If they
No,
dropped in
no.
every country in the
There's
world.
too many contrarians.
No,
There's too many-
I think it would be enough.
Because of the guys who said those buildings are burned down, everyone's out of there, we got to go loot those places.
Remember too, Matt, that this guy is insinuating probably, like I'm just hypothesizing here, I guess,
Yeah.
that 7 billion people would be an adequate amount to run this system totally fine. That 2 billion is what we're in surplus of. Too many seats in the room.
Yeah. So, but in
So
good
we
news
could,
for him, and
we
like
can
in
lose
20,
2 billion people
but in
who
20 years
don't
we will.
agree with love and understanding.
But in 20 years we will.
The aliens will do that.
What's strange is my sister was running a joke by me about how my nephew still believes in the tooth fairy. I don't even know how they work the tooth fairy, but his tooth fell out. He's like, I put my tooth under there. Tell my sister, just let the tooth fairy know. And she forgot to put money there. And he came back and was like, what's up with the tooth fairy? And she was like, oh, sorry. And she tossed him like $3 or whatever. He's like, what's this? And she said $3. He goes, I want $5. And my sister had to go on to ChatGPT to show him the world average for a tooth is $3.50. Anyways, kids will believe anything. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, I always thought $5 was the going minimum for a tooth.
I was getting 10 cents,
Yeah,
a
but
quarter.
Dude, come on, man. Come on.
You put a bill under your son's
100%. He got $5 per tooth.
I guess
I have a whole fucking necklace of teeth. Like
So-
that shit don't come cheap.
So what you're saying
Kamar.
is my sister totally screwed over my
Oh
nephew.
yeah, totally. And
Lowballed
and
him.
over $2.50. Like, come
Wow.
on. That's not gonna make or break anything, you know?
Wow. Okay. So there you go. There's two sides to every story.
They only have so many baby teeth that this isn't like a lifelong thing where you're paying your kid $5 for every tooth for the rest of his life.
It's not going to bankrupt you. I thought $1, a toonie.
We
Nice
got
shiny toonie.
$1. Like
No, I got less than $1.
Well, listen, you had a really hard life then, because
No,
most people I know got $1. $1 per tooth was like going rate.
Chat,
when we
let
were
us know
kids.
what you got as for your teeth from the tooth fairy and what you think the going rate is.
Here's how we'll decide how good your childhood was. Okay, when your tooth was loose, how did your parents get that tooth out of your mouth?
I got it out.
You got it out.
Every time I was like, let's figure out how to do it.
Yeah, so how did you do it?
Just push it.
They never tied it to the doorknob?
No.
Oh, I got tied to the
A
doorknob.
lot of apples and a lot of just chewing on sticks, or not sticks, but just something that would aggravate it.
That's hilarious.
To the
Did you chew on
expedient.
sticks a lot,
I'm a
Kamar?
stick-
What are you, a fucking goat?
I don't know, a chopstick. I don't know. I was raised in China. Back to the
No,
podcast.
You weren't. You were raised in Alaska, so maybe you did. You grow up just with the fucking spruce leaf.
Anyways, whatever it took to
your
wiggle
mouth.
that more, wiggle that more, wiggle that more.
Okay,
I wish teeth fell out all the time.
no, you don't.
No, but and it came back.
Oh, that would be nice.
It would be cool, like beavers.
Yeah. But that's cool also to think like, why do we have teeth and right? Like all of this. Why is your skin suit the way it is? And according to this guy, it's because this is the best version where you can get enough energy every day to make those big decisions.
Well, it's also the weird thing, like I don't ever recognize myself in pictures.
What?
When I see myself in a picture, I try to squint to see what I want. Like I just don't quite look like what I think I look like when I look in the mirror. And so everyone else is projecting what I look like. But crop circles. Someone has to unmask, because what he was saying, these are sort of like Easter eggs and stuff that the virtual reality or whatever, the system sometimes shoots out to sort of
To awaken people.
yeah. And they've just got to mask everything and say, definitively, we can't explain this. Just so you know, no one knows what this is. This is a complete mystery to the earth. And reiterate that for wonderment of people.
That book would be too big. There are so many of those things.
That's not too big, but that record needs to inspire wonder in people, because you see with young people when they're 18, they know everything there is to know about everything, and then they come back to you 5 years later and tell you all these things that were knowledge there, but they just oblivious to it. And I mean, it's not us to teach, but if that could be shared in the consciousness, mysteries, everyone on the planet know.
That's why it has to be something big now, because we're such non-believers.
That's why art might be the way. Art might be the way.
Well, listen, just
Global disaster would be another way, because that is true, right? Whenever 9/11 happens, we hope so. Earthquake in Haiti, everyone pulls together like it's a natural. We never in his historical have said, "Oh well, good luck to them."
Yeah, but it's a yes and no. Like Americans pulled together, but at the same time, like any Arab living in the U.S. during 9/11 probably would have told you it wasn't a great time.
That's an exception. But when there was a earthquake in Syria, everyone ran.
Yeah,
helped,
natural
like,
disasters tend to be a little
wherever
more.
you are.
isn't it amazing? Sorry, just going backwards for a second. Crop circles. So this amazing thing was happening where obviously the program was trying to like open up people's eyes, and they managed to snuff it all out with one media campaign about the two old men.
Yeah.
Like that literally, I bet if you ask 90% of people out there, that's what they'll tell you. Oh, it was those two old men.
Well, it's the same thing with the straws.
It's the straws. What straws?
There wasn't an epidemic of turtles with straws. There was a turtle got found with a straw, and now straws are doing everything.
Sure. You know that I went to Wendy's the other day? They don't even give straws anymore. You drink out of their fucking pop things like a Tim Hortons coffee cup.
They just throw the froster
eat
out
it.
your
They
window
just
like
throw
a turkey.
it in your face.
You eat at Wendy's? Did you get the big cheddar cheesy or the mini cheddar cheesy?
No, I mean, I get the same thing every
The
time.
most disgusting. It's like someone puked in a bun and wrapped it up.
First of all, Wendy's, whoever's working at Wendy's in Ottawa, they have no idea. Like, to them, mayo is the main ingredient of the burger. They're like, it's mayo.
Well, because there's no mustard on it.
I don't think they have the proper dispenser, or it's just gauged
Because
up.
it's insane, dude. Like, I get the burger and I'm like, what is going on?
It's not going to dry out on you. But you should be eating there. You know that.
I don't. I hate
Free
Wendy's.
Free plug. Have you ever the Doner Kebab place on Elgin?
No.
It's the real deal. The system
What
one.
you were saying didn't matter, but have you ever eaten at the Doner Kebab place on...
Believe me now.
Believe me now.
Hear me later.
He said it was a free plug, but I'm pretty sure he's invested in that Doner
Yeah.
place.
At the end of the day, the system wants people to wake up.
Yes.
It wants to see all the lights working. It's much like, for another analogy, all the lights. If one light's out, none of them work. I think they've
Talking about Christmas lights.
Christmas
You
lights. I
didn't
think
say
they've got
we-
around that now.
You see,
the
I
same
think
all
you're
there.
looking at it wrong, and I could be wrong, but to me, it's like there's a lot of lights on the planet, and you can have all of South America lit up and all of Australia lit up. You know what I mean? They don't have to be connected. It's not like a physical connection. It's a
I think for this to
emotional
happen, you would
connection.
have to do a lot of changing You know what
That's fine.
And I think he
I
also,
like it that he thinks he's perfect.
I don't. I just think you gotta cheer up. I think he suggested maybe even poor people are closer, like we are the problem, versus us thinking we're on the cusp here. If you guys would just be happier, they're actually happier. You know, living in the slums of China, India, South America, especially anywhere where it's sunnier. They probably have a better disposition, and we actually have to give everything up. Because sacrifice, that's what I want to teach my nephew if he's listening. The don't you wish someone really said to you, if you're doing something and you think it sucks, that's a good thing.
Well, I have the worst news for you. I have 2 nephews. They don't give a shit they're not taking any of the lessons in that we give them.
But everyone that succeeds sacrificed, and you can demonstrate it in a bunch of avenues and show it to this person, and just realize, and you can't sacrifice your whole life. You just can't. So if you're going to sacrifice, you got to do it now, because as you get older, you're going to be less prone to sacrifice or want to sacrifice or put yourself in challenging situations. So take advantage of it. And we would all
make
have
your
to sacrifice.
sacrifices when you're young. That's what you're saying.
Well, that's when you're primed to do it, and that's when you're going to learn the lessons, and it's not going to kill you unless you go on Outward Bound. But we'll get to that with Steve Rinella. Unbelievable. Could you ever forgive something? They took your kid away. So yeah, if we stop fighting cancer, just let those people die. Stop foreign aid, let those people starve.
Dude, it's
we could get closer.
He's the problem.
He's good at taking
I have a lot of growing to do.
He's great.
You are the problem.
He's great at taking a positive message and finding a way to turn it evil really quickly.
No, it's not. It's not. It's practical.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's a what would Trump do? This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of
you know
course,
what I mean?
It's so interesting though, because everything we know, as we know, TikTok, Facebook, all the evil players. What's the currency?
Time.
Data is what I was going to say. And the system is just full of data, much the way that Rinella said about AI can only write what material gets added to it. As if people stop adding, it knows up to this point and can't think anymore.
I think that's a stupid assumption on our part.
What if we just stop doing anything digital? Again, that's not going to happen. But everyone did all communicate writing, and we just sort of shut it off of what we're thinking about, and it just got froze. Of course, nothing's possible, but you know what I mean.
I mean, this guy was saying that the next 40 years we're going to round the knee of technology. And that it'll happen really quickly, and we have to
You didn't have to touch your knee.
The more we push for, I was showing you what a knee looks like. The more we push forward, like it'll allow us to maximize our decision making for order.
But it was the hockey stick effect, part of the knee.
No, he said the knee.
If you're asleep,
Thank you.
we're going like this. It's about to go wham. And as he sort of said,
He's a tough guy.
the cell phone social media has been a pretty gradual adoption.
Okay.
This is going to be much faster than, and we think it's been pretty fast being, before it and after it, but it's been pretty gradual that, do all payments, credit card stuff online, where I remember when at first I was very hesitant, and a lot of people were, and whatever transition this is going to be aided by AI is going to be, I think it's all exciting.
Come on, I was thinking about the other day. Again, I spent my 20s bartending. The fucking Roomba. I spent my 20s bartending. I lived with cash. I never had money in my bank. I only had cash.
And it was just abundance.
And now, I don't remember the last time I touched a fucking dollar bill.
Well, you aren't shopping at the First Nations dispensaries.
No, I'm not.
Because they are cash only. Have you gone into one?
No.
They have all the weed out. They can show you anything, like big, juicy, pound canisters just around the place.
None of it looks that good, though.
Some of it looks great. The hash look great. The edibles, there's a cap in the legal world.
Yeah. They have no cap.
They can sell you like rocket blasters, man. I'm so proud to support the indigenous community. And they're open 24 hours for Juicy Nugs. But yeah,
Juicy nugs. Are you getting paid?
well, I bought so much the other day that they gave me a free joint. Can't do that if you're doing it legally. But just my point being is anything's possible. The system wants people to wake up. It's a shame. I would suggest that you maybe even go back and listen to it.
The
I have to, I told you.
commercialism is the antithesis to what we're trying to be doing, apparently.
Like I said at the very beginning, this the Jimmy Carter speech.
But we do need technology to advance. So we would hope that everybody had what they needed and we were working on technology because we wanted the advance and not getting the advance because it was companies racing each other to exploit said advance,
Yeah.
right? It's like we're getting kind of where we need to go, but for the wrong reasons. And unless we can get there for the right reasons, it's not going to matter. Because if you just have a computer, a new program that's going to make,
That's overriding the old one.
well, and making decisions, you know, a million times faster, but they're still the wrong decisions, like you're just kind of speeding up the inevitable.
We can only hope that
And-
AI somehow forms guardrails that sort of edges everyone closer to this sort of same page.
The very last thing he said was that AI systems, once they start impacting like human beings in an everyday type way, and they become their own sentient thing, like when a robot, let's say a cyborg, an android, whatever, when that thing starts conversing with you, it's not going to matter that it's artificial intelligence because the program doesn't care. It cares about decisions that impact things to gain order.
yeah.
And if that thing can do it, it doesn't give a fuck how it got there. So he's just saying that once we create that AI, it will be just as important to the system as we are. Doesn't
that bother you?
I mean, I don't think anything bothers me anymore because
What
this
would
is the
be
system
cool?
that's running, and it's obviously running.
What would be possibly cool is if what he says is true. It begs that AI would identify. Oh, this is AI would want to see the harmonization.
Yeah.
And realize even though there's separate AIs, we all have to get on it. I really want to see this hum. So this is how it's got to work, and this is what we're going to do to get there. Because he doesn't really say what the result of us all being loving and stuff, but it sounds like the best it could be.
Well, if the system wants order, if that's what it craves to be able to progress, then we would be part of, like, I assume that's what they mean when they say things like the age of Aquarius. You know, we're entering a new age. This would be us leveling up. And that can only be a good thing, right? Because then the next time you come to be part of this simulation, the simulation is that much better. Like, imagine you come every day, your decisions are shitty. But you can be in a reality where every day your decisions are amazing. Like, the system doesn't care.
I'd love to live in that.
It
second
doesn't
one you
care.
mentioned.
Well, no, this is what I mean. It doesn't care where the decisions come from. It just craves the decisions.
I think an interesting question also would have been, had there been times historically when
We got
there
it
was
right.
enough people?
Well, that would have been the pyramid
were built,
questions.
Göbekli Tepe.
Well, they were obviously doing things we can't understand now. So, like, maybe being able to move things with your mind is like that next stage of progression. And
you just have 10,000 of the happiest people ever all in one fucking place and they're just moving stones.
well, again, if every day you wake up and, you know, you get your dick sucked and then you have your favorite cup of coffee and you fucking smoke a joint and then you go to work and all you have to do is concentrate on trying to move bricks. I mean, that's probably the best
Is it?
case scenario for actually moving bricks.
I mean, everything up to the brick moving sounded
Fear-
pretty fucking
I know,
good.
but if you got your dick sucked every single day,
no, it would be up to you.
365 No.
If you didn't want it, you
have
wouldn't
no
get
choice.
it.
It would get old.
No, you see, you're
No,
talking.
No, you know what?
You're-
Actually, now that he
you're
mentions
talking about
it,
hell now.
the times in my life where I was getting my dick sucked almost every day, I think I was happier.
Okay. So
And it's
I mean,
not,
maybe that was the booze. I don't know.
dude.
project.
You're getting stuck
No,
on the
no,
dick
this is-
sucking. In
Yeah.
your case, if it's you like sucking dick every
No.
morning, like that's
No,
fine
but it's like
too,
you don't
man.
want your wife to do it, so your friend's wife does it, and everyone's friend wife does his wife, and you pass it around. What do you think?
That's a Trump thing.
What do you
What
think
would
about
Trump
that?
do in this situation? Well, he'd want to fuck your wife.
or is it a Mormon thing?
He wants to go to American Primeval. He's giving you an
Oh,
American, Primeval.
You watched it? You loved it. You hated it.
No.
You're an idiot. You didn't even watch it. You slept
Of course,
through
I
it.
watched it. What are you talking about? I texted you like 2 days after.
We watch
asshole.
it to trash your opinion.
Well, it was incredible. Everyone
your
thinks
ideas.
it's incredible. If you don't think it's incredible, listen, I'm trying to be
Jared
uber
didn't think it-
positive, but
Jared
you're
didn't-
stupid with a huge smile on
But
my
it's
face.
it's a joke like Sopranos, right? It's a comedy.
Jared,
You're an asshole.
No,
really,
really?
really.
Is it like, duh, the guy loses his mind and searching for his wife and ends up killing her? No.
Jared didn't love it. He didn't love their portrayal of Native Americans.
I know why
of course.
he didn't
Yeah.
like it. I already dispelled his ridiculous idea.
You know what the neatest cameo was, though?
Peter Berg.
No, in the very, well, he
Being
directed it.
super
In the very
American.
first episode, there's a woman steals a knife that she ends up killing her
Rapist.
rapist with, but the guy who goes, "We got a knife thief,"
Yeah.
is Jim Irsay.
That's the owner of the Colts?
Yeah.
That wasn't
It was. It was not. I said that looks just like him, but he also looks like an actor, and I had to IMDb
That's
it.
so weird.
I think, and this was the these guys, billionaire owns a football team. I want to get in on.
Yeah. Can I be an actor? Put me in something.
Well, you know
Can I yell
why?
out knife
you know
thief
why?
at a native? I always wanted to do that.
What's his
Weird-
name
weird
was
pull,
just
right?
on Landman.
Yes, Jerry Jones.
He started a whole fucking trend of owners trying to outdo each other. You're going to see one in an Oscar-nominated film.
Exactly,
soon.
Simon.
yeah.
100%. And then you're going to see one. Gary Bettman's going to try to play for the Leafs.
That's
or
when it
something.
jump the shark, man.
Of course, it always
That's
does
when it
that.
jumps the San Jose Shark.
The Thai guy that
Oh,
owns the
you see what I
Jaguar, the
did there?
Thai guy that owns the Jaguars is like, you had me a hero.
But it was interesting. This guy also was like
Cancel.
apprehensive about just jumping into stuff. Because if he comes in the wrong place, it does sound buck wild crazy. And
You know what sounds buck wild crazy? The fucking shtick they feed us now. It sounds crazy.
yeah, I know, but he was like, I got to tell you this to tell that. And often it's run around Sue and you don't get anywhere. But I really appreciated the way we went through this. And contrary to you saying it didn't go long enough, I thought it was a lot to process.
I just had so many more questions, but I guess I'll have to like read his book.
Simon didn't say it was too short. Simon's point was simply, if you're going to do 5.5 hours for Protect Our Parks,
Yeah.
Simon felt like if you have someone on who's trying to explain sort
I'm
of
taken.
the theory of everything, maybe give it an extra hour. That's
I
all Simon was
truly
saying.
believe that this would have been like an amazing 2-part Joe episode where he could have like stopped. They would have gone to their hotels and got together the next day. So Joe could have processed everything and then come back and asked him the right questions.
And what about if Eric Epstein was there?
His name is Weinstein, and
Oh,
he'll
sorry.
definitely is going to be there next week.
Or Lance Strong?
But I don't know if you noticed about this one,
Lex Friedman.
but or maybe it was Brian Callen. He was like Brian Callen was done around one that was done 2.5 weeks ago.
I don't think so, because Brian's there right now doing the
Right before
mothership.
McNulty.
So it was this guy then.
Right before McFluffy.
This guy was done back 2 weeks
That's
ago.
another
and
thing
it sat in
I
the can.
forget to mention is guys that I think they're gay until they mention my wife. Both McFluffy and the guy before with the Kentucky healthcare
Who
system.
the fuck is McFluffy?
First off, Kamar, I'm watching.
Wesley Huff.
I've watched like all the pop culture Jeopardy. Don't do that. There's a camera right there that you're trying to be a part of, dipshit. You know what I realized about this guy? He spent like 6 years trying to tell us how a podcast is run, how YouTube is done, how we can be famous. How he wears a hat covering his face for the camera, and then he never faces it. Pop culture Jeopardy.
I mean, it's probably better though.
Yeah, it's true. Now he's being a real dick. He always goes super hyperbole.
What?
Pop culture Jeopardy, there's at least at every episode there's one like we're married where you're like, well, that guy's gay. and she's not, and they're unhappy. So just because you're married doesn't mean you're not very gay.
Thanks
Yeah.
to my defense. Isn't it that Colin Jost?
Yeah, Colin Jost.
You
Yeah.
can stand that guy?
You're just angry because he's married to Scarlett Johansson.
No. Last night.
Yes.
Last night actually
He's
he did a good
uber
joke.
liberal. That's
Last
why.
night he did a good joke where he was like, "Hear me out," his "Hear me out" segment, and he's like, "Isn't it better that AI makes child porn for pedophiles to watch because then it's not real kids?" Hear me out. He's trying to justify it because AI takes
Existing child porn.
and at that point he goes, "Oh, wait a second," and he goes, "Hear me out." But he did that on television. I thought that was pretty brave. But again, weirdo. We should probably rate this and take a break. But did you listen to Mr. Metzger on Tinfoil Hat, Simon?
Yes.
Heavy D and the boys.
Why? Just the conspiracies he's bringing up, or
Yeah,
what?
no, he's solid. Well, no, again, the fact checkers over here aren't the strongest, but everyone, there's something going on in Hollywood. You got to know this. We've had this debate before,
Seems that way.
but they're weirdos. And anyone who's successful is weird. Oh, that's another thing Chappelle said. Everyone's asking me about
Did he?
Diddy's party. And he goes, "I realize I'm ugly because no one invited me to these parties." And then he goes on, he tells a story about Winslow running a train on who's the guy from Family Matters?
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
What's his
that
name?
that
What's his
guy-
name? What's his name?
I forget. The dad.
Carl
Winslow.
Winslow. So
Yeah.
Carl Winslow's running a train at Disney party, like, Carl Winslow. He's very good. You can't believe even Carl Winslow's better looking than him. That's what Dave Chappelle said. Okay, right on. I did it. I should have done that. Sorry, guys.
Rate it, Simon. What do you rate this episode?
I give it a 5.
Shouldn't have done that. I give it a 4.9. I really think he's got it. This is the answer to everything, to the question, to the meaning of life.
It wasn't. I mean, I have to finish it, but it wasn't as simulation-y as I would have enjoyed. But I'll give it a 4.
You need a re-listen, and next week you can give it
Sure.
just 5.
I think a 4 is still. First of all, you never give anything a 5. If I give something a 5, you're like, whoa, take it easy, pal.
Well, because I think there's a difference between. You know what? It's all about love, Matt.
Oh, is it?
You want to give.
You're never gonna
You
last.
want to give
You're never gonna
5s
last.
to the guy
You're
who
never gonna
brings
last.
on the people who cut other people's heads off
You're
that they
never gonna
find in
last.
refrigerators. That's cool by me.
never gonna last.
You want to give it to the guy who's giving you the keys to the kingdom? That's also fine with me.
You're never going to last. Kamar, you're right. His negativity will override everything. He
He can't see it, and he doesn't know. Simon doesn't think I love him. I'm sure of that. And you know I love you, Simon. You know it. He can't even look at me. See?
Actions,
See how hard-
actions speak louder than words.
Oh, yeah.
I've only
You
ever
know,
acted
you
as a
know what
lover.
the simulation doesn't give a fuck about? Words.
You're going to have to start driving him to the podcast.
Simon, it would be my honor
Yeah, pick him up
to get
next
that
Sunday.
text. Do you want me to start texting you?
Yeah.
Need a ride? That would really get under your skin, wouldn't it?
No, you know what he
don't
wants?
know Simon.
You know what he wants, Kamar? He just wants one time for him to show up at that door and you not answer. You not be there. That's what he's looking for.
Yeah. Show up to this podcast and you're just not here.
Are we doing one more or are we taking a break?
No,
you want to
no,
do Brian Callen?
Sure.
Well, if anything, it would be Steve Ranella, no?
Yeah, you're right. That's a
Because
5-minute
all
talk.
you're going to talk
Yeah.
about is the ancient civilizations, and then we're going to fucking ditch this clown.
Clown
Which
seems a bit
should
harsh.
be the words coming out of Joe's mouth.
As you wish.
Yeah, okay. You know what? You're Matt. You are
told you it wouldn't last
absolutely
long.
correct.
I
No,
told
no,
you
no.
it
Too late.
last
It's too late,
No,
Simon.
it's not. No.
2250, Steve Ranella.
I'm so happy that he had Steve Ranella on for the people who love hunting podcasts.
Yeah, see?
It's not me.
It's not for us.
And you
That's
know
right.
what? I slept through this episode.
you
So don't fucking
Well,
worry about
Unfortunately,
it.
I listened to the whole thing.
I'm glad you brought this up because one of the first quotes they start on with this one is psychology is more contagious than the flu. So an idea can spread much faster than a cold can, as we've learned with, for better, for worse.
What about then COVID?
That's an example that they use, Simon. I'm glad you brought that up. Stay away from fish that eat fish. How do you think?
Stay away from fish that eat fish that eat fish. Well, it's the same way you don't eat like mountain lions. You don't eat predators.
Are you disgusted with me for repeating something Steve Ranella said, Simon? This negativity is just overpowering. How
It's palpable, isn't it?
How do you think it will look? It'll look back on the handling of the pandemic, say 10 years from now, as it will be far enough removed. I mean, unless there's another one, and then it's all forgotten. But will leaders be seen as heroes and sacrifices are made? And
That really, I think when you look back on it, it was like the best example of a mind virus that we've ever seen in the course of like at least
happening fast.
I don't know what happened in the olden days, like during the medieval times, like maybe they had their own. But I would imagine this was biggest because of our connectivity to each other.
I think I disagree with both of you. I think so many people are still toe the line and are like everything we did was.
No, I'm saying whether
that doesn't matter.
Whether
I
it's
don't-
true or
you know
not
what
true.
I think, but how will it be looked back on as a?
We did well. We did well. We saved humanity. That's how we will look. That's how everyone will look back on it.
The president, we did well.
Yeah. No. But if you literally,
No, I totally disagree with what he's saying. I
Really?
think you're right, Kamar. I think for the next 10 years, you'll hear shit like that. But 20 years from now, 30 years from now, we're going to look back and say, we caused this through panic.
I disagree.
And had we treated it as like something
They'll
a
never
lot
say
less
we
than
did
it-
wrong.
I think it'll be a
History
JFK.
will never.
They will as soon as there's new leaders in place
I doubt it.
I think it'll be like a JFK situation.
where you'll just never know.
The can will just be kept being kicked down the road as well. We'll unclassify.
Listen, if Donald Trump is just the first stepping stone into us getting leaders that are not politically driven, let's just imagine, okay, that the next person who runs for president after Donald Trump is somebody even more loved by the public.
Well,
Isn't that the next step closer to like
It'll
what
be-
Buddy was talking
it'll
about?
be JD Vance in this situation, or are you saying the Democrats get The Rock to run,
or
something
Taylor
like
Swift or some. I'm trying to think of somebody that like both sides could love because they're undeniable. You know what I mean? Brad Pitt.
that? Joe Rogan.
No, the left hates Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm.
You need somebody in the middle. Like Joe Rogan used to be that guy, I feel, because he was so liberal in his ideas, but then was still this like macho man. So he managed to, but now he's just only on the right. So, but do you hear what I'm saying, Kumar?
I can't think of that person.
But
Tom Brady.
Jesus, if that person existed, whoever it was that could like bridge the gap, that would be. And this was just the first step in changing the way we function as a society.
Well, they're looking for that person right now.
You
obviously.
see who's running for the Liberals in this country?
Who?
Mark Carney.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll save that for the post, Joe.
He hasn't.
He did it to me. He
has-
said,
I told
"Why
you.
is your shit
I told you he
able to
would.
be talked about now, but mine has to be saved for the post, Joe?"
Because we're just trying to flush out.
Oh yeah, right.
Ranella.
Mark Ranella.
Also,
yeah.
it says Steve Rubella on his fucking thing.
Steve instead of Steve Ranella. Well, that's okay because I just called him Mark Ranella. So. Okay, let's just get to the. I didn't listen
Eating
to this
hair.
one, so let's get to the ancient civilizations.
Be careful
Simon,
with
look me in the eyes. You didn't miss anything.
cannibals. Hair will plug your butt.
Oh, interesting.
That was a
No,
good
it wasn't just
tip
hair,
there.
bone. They were
Bone,
eating
all the bone and
So
shit, yeah.
they were like so. It was these guys in the. He was talking about like people that took ships up to like the north.
Why are they eating the hair?
No. So they had no. They ran out of everything. They had nothing left. So they were grinding bone.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Into
he
like
probably
a-
doesn't.
into
probably-
like
Donner
it's-
party, more like a dinner party.
They were grinding bone into like a gelatin and eating it, and then they were saying they were taking pelts and scraping the hair off
yeah,
and
that,
eating the
that,
pelts.
that makes sense.
And they were like the bone apparently like reconstitutes inside you, so like it was fucking disgusting.
Dude, imagine trying to pass that shit.
The worst kidney stone you've ever had, pretty much an entire bone.
Ugh.
Do you think?
That's how people grew vestigial tails.
Vestigial tail.
Are any of the Great Lakes Canada's?
Half of each Great Lake is
It's
technically
half.
ours.
That's how it works.
Not of each Great Lake. I think there's one. Yeah, I think Superior is totally in the United States. Matt,
And Huron is
don't
totally.
be fucking stupid and look dumb.
You have a computer in front of you. Go ahead. If I'm wrong, I don't give a shit first of all.
See how nicely I said it though?
No, I didn't. I missed that.
said it with a whole like lilt to my voice.
Said it with a lilt.
If we
to
can
my
explore,
voice.
if we can explore space,
Yeah.
we should have all the Great Lakes mapped, every nook and cranny of them. Don't you agree?
And you don't think we do?
We don't.
What do you mean?
He was talking about they're looking for a boat right now with 6 million
Is that
beaver
what,
pelts on
is
it.
that why they were talking about ancient civilizations? Because of what they found at the bottom of Lake Michigan or whatever?
That's right, Simon.
Only Lake Michigan is entirely in the United States.
Michigan.
There
That's
you
what-
go.
So that's
So
their
there
lake.
is.
The rest
There
are
you go.
ours. We don't lay claim to all of them.
No, they're not ours. We the rest of them are half
We
and half.
split
Yeah.
seas, yeah.
Plains are swallowed by glaciers.
Maybe Ontario is only in.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure we split. Again, I was wrong about that one. So you know what I care about the Great Lakes? None. I don't give a fuck. I'm too busy trying to be positive and happy and
You
get
see,
on.
that sounded like a huge oxymoron that sounded.
I've seen a lot of cool decommissioned plane houses, and I would like to do that. And they
like a
always.
747 you're talking?
I haven't seen. No one has that big a plane, but
like build a house into a plane?
yes, and there's always a nice patio on one of the wings.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool.
That is cool.
But
That
they were
seems like a
talking,
lot of work though.
Well, I see the people who redo like the buses and shit.
and a storage container.
Again, it all seems like a lot of work for just to be like I live in a storage container.
That'd be pretty cool.
It's, I mean, if you're making TikToks, then shit's paying itself.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's such a bad attitude.
Did you guys see the Iceman movie?
No.
Iceman.
I can remember my stepfather took me to it.
What's the
They
Iceman?
find a
movie?
guy frozen in ice.
Do you mean Encino Man?
No, that was.
I saw Encino
They said,
Man.
"Hey,
Oh wait, I remember that movie. What
guy's
movie was that?
Called Iceman. He's frozen in ice. They de-thaw him. He gets alive. He goes crazy. Can't handle it. Sort of chills with the girl for a bit. Then escapes.
Yeah.
Then
I don't remember
He
this.
remembers some sort of flying thing. Grabs a helicopter. Ends up falling off.
Are you
the
sure it was
helicopter.
called Iceman?
Yeah, I am. But you've seen Encino Man.
I've seen Encino Man.
And you've seen Encino Man.
It's the JRE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon to rack their brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game where Matt and Simon go head to head to find out what year movie came out, how much it made at the box office, and how much it cost to make. This week we're doing The Iceman, starring
No,
Sean
we're doing
Astin.
Encino Man.
Encino Man, starring Sean Astin, Brendan Fraser, Merritt Hartley, Richard Masur, and everyone's favorite, Comedy Store Punk.
Okay,
Pauly
just
Shore.
hold on a sec here. There's a movie, The Iceman.
There it is.
Which is with Ray Liotta, and it's like a gangster movie.
That is not it.
And then there's a movie called Iceman, but
There
it's
it
from
is.
2017. You went
No.
to see that with your dad?
No, that's not the movie I'm talking about.
No, so it's not called Iceman. So think of what the movie is, because I remember it.
I don't have a fucking pen. Give me a second. Iceman?
And throw in an apology into me there somewhere in between those two things.
Iceman, 1984. I don't think you can read. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You
No,
can't.
I'm sorry. Why doesn't it come up on mine? I only get 2017.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
This is crazy.
I'm so sorry your phone's
crazy.
broken.
Well, listen, my phone is broken.
I'm so sorry I was right again.
20 what?
I
20
apologize.
what, Kamar?
So sorry I was right again.
What year did it come out?
What year did Iceman come out?
Yes, 1984. I see it now.
I'm sorry you couldn't find that.
Kamar's just throwing
Oh,
fucking shade.
he said he wants me to throw
No,
some
I told him
apology.
to throw in an apology in between those two things.
I'm doing a bulk deal. A buffet of apologies. Wow, it seems like Matt really wants to win this
Yeah,
movie game.
he's what
The
movie
stakes
are
have
we
been so
doing?
high.
Encino Man, Brendan Fraser, and
Sean
Pauly
Astin,
Shore.
Pauly Shore.
That's his name, Sean Astin.
Yeah, he's from Lord of the
I
Rings.
thought that guy
there.
was going to be like the next Tom Cruise.
Samwise
Yeah.
Gansey.
Ganji.
Ganji.
Ganja.
I think they pronounce it Z in Hobbit.
Distributed by Buena Vista Pictures.
So let me think here.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Football's done. We start to try to remember what's really important in life.
I'm ready.
Okay.
During the first ice age, a caveman attempts to make it with a caveman girlfriend.
I think I am ready too.
All right. I said it came out in 1992.
I also said 92. Hold on. I have to write down how much it costs here.
Ding, ding, ding.
92?
92. Wow. You're in
Shut
play.
up.
We
Wow.
are in play.
Wow. So wait, let me write down what I think here.
Yeah, that's how the game works. That's how we play the game, Simon. Kamar, who are you going for now?
Buffalo.
Okay, I'm ready.
Who do you think's going to win, though?
Washington. They just look wild card wicked.
Yeah, they did look really
He's
good.
such a
But rookie quarterback winning a Super Bowl?
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I said it cost $30 million to make,
Yeah.
and I said it grossed $224 million.
Well, that seems high. I said it cost $20 million, and it made 88.
This was your time to shine. I guess they had a lot of friends who worked on it. Budget $7 million.
Oh Jesus!
Well, I mean, I'm still 13 million. Yeah.
I don't think it was as popular as you guys figured because the box office it made $40.7 million. It was still
that
popular.
wasn't that far
It did
off.
all right.
Yeah, I mean, I said 88. I doubled it.
It wasn't
sorry,
no,
he said
232.
Well, you're
I thought it was a very popular movie.
We'll give it to Matt, and that's the movie
I
game.
thought it was a very popular movie.
I have no idea passing that win along to Matt. It would make me feel good to do
Nice of
something
you, Simon.
like that. Yeah.
I'm not going to take the win because I think I was too far off, but whatever.
So he said that he thinks that animals that had never seen humans before were very docile and easy to kill, and that would have provided abundance. And that solves a lot of the how were they able to conquer and survive.
You know, when your dog, this is where I'm going to disagree with that. Not because I think anything bad about this guy, but only because I have a differing opinion.
Yeah.
You know, when your dog comes up to like an animal they've never seen before, they fucking bark.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's also
first
hold on.
instinct is-
But that's
You
the-
think they've never
you're
seen
putting,
before.
but you're
Myself.
putting a lot of evolutionary stuff in between there that you're not taking into account. Like he's saying they've never seen they might have zero predators ever, right? That's why there was
Yes,
such an
okay,
abundance.
Okay, fine, sure.
And in that case, you could
like
argue
the buffaloes were just so big and stupid and docile that they didn't have to run them down with horses. They just walked into the field and
Just walked
slapped
up.
them in the face.
Just walked up,
Took their glove off and fucking smacked them in the face.
patted the head, and then shoved a knife in
Yeah.
his brain. Here, little doggy. Here, little doggy. But
that's exactly it.
do
Yeah.
you
Oh
think?
my god! I just pictured somebody doing that with a buffalo.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Like
It's
just
okay.
they walk into the forest, they find a wolf, they get behind it coyly and just slit its throat.
Slowly though.
Cold-hearted.
They pretend like they're like putting
Hey,
their hand
buddy.
around
Yeah.
the bear's shoulder and then
Aggressively. Yeah.
But I think all of us would be guilty of like wanting to.
Simon, that was where the simulation started to fall apart. It was that first guy that aggressively stabbed a wolf. Go ahead, Kumar.
Check out.
yeah, exactly. It's like I'm sorry, Kumar. It's like that joke. Have you ever heard that where I don't remember the whole thing, but it's God gives the animals and then we fuck the animals and he's like, whoa, what's going on here? Anyways, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
that
go ahead.
was a funny bit.
Oh my god.
What a piece of shit.
You know what?
No,
your
it was-
whole shtick would be better saved for the fucking post show.
I love that.
And you're putting out the negativity.
They were having sex with animals. Whoa. Hi, you guys. Oh man, that was funny.
He put them down for us to eat.
He needs to be stopped.
What I was trying to say is if you were walking and you saw a mountain lion or something,
Yeah.
I don't think you might think, oh, try to check it out more and observe it where you should be trying to scare it away or get away from it.
I wonder if it's different. Like we've always been running from cats. Like from the second we.
But you've never seen one.
No, I know, but maybe it's one of those like rats in America, rats in, we just Joe says it all the time. Like that's why you're scared of the big bad wolf. Is because
What I'm saying, if you're walking through Algonquin Park in the winter and somehow a Siberian tiger made over, you'd be like marveled by it before you just be
Or it mauled you.
and it would maul you and stuff.
But to Kamar's point, like the first person that ever saw a cat might have been like, ooh.
Oh, I think we might be more skittish though.
You never know. I'm just
We-
saying
that
that, and
fear
then
of
that,
us
and
is,
then that guy got mauled, and someone was like, "Oh,
Till you had weapons.
don't go near those. Can't sneak up on those ones. No patting on the head."
Possible.
I mean, anything's possible. It's a
Yeah,
fucking
dinosaurs
virtual
had subways.
reality.
And then
Fucking for
they were talking about rights to bones and whatnot.
bone rights, yeah.
And again, if Campbell's right, who cares? All the physical doesn't matter.
You know, I would have liked to have asked them about the dinosaur bones.
It's just a weird sentimental thing we got.
I just these Steve Rinella ones. Like again, you have to. I truly believe that you have to be a hunter to really enjoy.
Well,
these.
he said his new project is doing historical things and
Around
checking
hunting.
on that. So that's interesting. I thought it was also interesting when they mentioned that the decommissioned oil rigs are now becoming like man-made reefs almost.
But that makes perfect sense.
But they're removed. I watched them remove it. They built the biggest racist boat is to remove those.
Do all of those rigs go right to the bottom?
There's a myriad of places.
There must be floating rigs too.
There's some on crazy pontoons and stuff. Yeah.
I think all the rigs themselves are floating, and then they have. Like I think a lot of the rigs float, and they just have two things that go into the fucking bottom of the ocean.
It's really amazing, like
Maybe.
pyramid amazing.
The rigs, how we build those.
Get
things.
them out there and do it.
Well, think about how-
and they can extract so much it justifies all that.
Think about how they have to build bridges. Well, they have to build bridges across the span of water, but they have to be in that span of water to build the bridges. You can't like build the bridge as you go.
So you have anti
You
gravity,
need
that's
to
for
have
sure.
fucking support.
Listen, most of the things we build fucking blow my mind.
Yeah.
Like any large project. Like, dude, it's not even just the bridge building. It's like, think about the tunnel from France to England. Like, you're telling me that human beings.
Well, they must have drained the thing, right?
It's not that,
Or
Simon.
stop the water.
It's not that. It's that they met perfectly. You know what I mean? Like, you start digging in France, I start digging in England, and we meet perfectly underground.
Well, I mean, they didn't do this in ancient times. They did this in times where they had fucking.
It still blows my mind, Simon.
I mean, that one less than other things. To me, that's actually a pretty easy one. You dam up both sides of the whatever it is.
You don't have to dam up anything.
You think you're digging underneath the river?
Exactly what they did.
Oh yeah, I guess you would just dig underneath the river, right? I assume the river went right down to the middle of the earth.
Oh, this was
a channel, first
this
of
is a
all.
provocative question. Do you think that are you just going to let your medical practitioners put whatever they want or suggest into your baby?
Oh, that is interesting. Are you going to get the fucking vaccines for your kid?
Have you thought about it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, like all the normal ones, yeah, why not?
But don't do the HPV one.
Okay.
That's a scam. That's a gay. They were trying to sell to gays who didn't want it. Scam that they decided to give to your kids.
Kamar, the majority of Earth has been like vaccinated for measles, mumps, and rubella. You know what I mean? Those ones, like, I get that there's still that 0.0% chance that something could. I understand that. I think we all take that risk. And
You wouldn't, Kamar, if you had a kid. You would take the blind. Hopefully, you're right.
No,
and your kid
I was
doesn't
wondering
get sick.
if I would look into it.
Are you going to look into it?
well, what is the looking into?
I don't know.
Like Simon has a kid, and his kid is fine, and I assume you got him vaccinated for all the normal.
I'm assuming
He got all the normal things. I didn't know any better at the time. Now I think I would look into it more.
I wonder.
Again, you and your wife were your whole family was vaccinated for all these things. Everyone is like, let me ask you this. If I find out it's going to maybe wipe off a couple IQ points, like, dude, my kid's going to be retarded anyway. It's coming from me. It's fine.
I just think you must have I don't know how it works because I have no kids, but they say, here, sign this this for this for this. I'm sure you sign off.
You
on
don't
it.
sign nothing.
They just say, hey,
They say these are.
here's the
they say
tickets.
this
You got all
is the
this.
schedule.
Here's your
of
tags.
the vaccinations your child needs, and then you have to get all of them done, and it
So
tells you when you get them.
So that
done.
would allow you a period if you wanted to look at these vaccines and look into them.
Well, some of them you can't. Like, there's some you won't be able to send your kid to school. So unless I plan on homeschooling this kid,
Well, maybe that's for the best. Anyways.
Yeah, man. Imagine that.
Maybe, but I'm not
the greatest fucking Call of Duty player ever.
see, he had to take it there, didn't
Well,
he? And you had to
I-
laugh.
That's
And you had to
so
laugh.
mean.
Is-
That's so mean.
what the
Listen,
hell?
it was hard not to laugh because
Yeah,
it
was
was
it?
funny.
Yeah.
But like, I wouldn't have made
Why
the
is
joke.
it? Why is
Matt.
it mean?
I wouldn't have wanted
Why
to hurt your
is it
feelings.
mean?
It would be like if you had a kid and I was like, "We train to be the best fucking wall painter on earth." Fucking
Yeah, I always talk.
stupid
I always
as
think about
shit.
my nephew is going to be an amazing painter if he doesn't get his shit together. Why not help give the kid?
He's
kid a
like
skill?
12 years old.
No, in 10 years.
You're already portraying your fucking. You. I don't know if you're good for that kid.
Time will tell.
time will tell. Are we done with Steve? Because this
Yeah.
episode,
I give it 2.5.
What was the ancient civilizations? Just at least humor me.
I don't remember him talking about ancient civilizations at all.
No,
Me
he
either,
was
Matt.
talking about the Bering Land ice bridge and abundance and seeing the animals, and they didn't recognize them, so it was easy to hunt.
No, that's not. Simon was looking for more like Gobekli Tepe.
Oh, it was none
He's
of that.
talking like settler.
You're talking
like,
about real
he's talking
ancient
about- yeah.
civilizations.
Settlers, primeval, 100%.
All right. All right. Let's take a break.
No, I give this one a 1. Again, if you had listened to any Steve Rinella episode previous to this, like he even at one point did the whole like, I think I've told you the story, Joe. And Joe's like, which one? And he's like, about Jim Barn. And he's like, you have told me that story. And then Joe's like, but tell it anyway. And I'm like, no.
Well,
Those are the words you never want
Yeah.
to hear.
and again, that attitude is why we should just be repeating the same thing, possibly. Also,
What was the first word he said? Atutas by?
Yeah.
no, he treats his podcast, I feel like everyone's listening for the first time.
Yeah.
That's just in his head.
this
That's what he
time.
thinks. He doesn't even think people have heard this before.
What is atutas by?
Toot
That's
his
it.
vibe.
People think they're listening for To the Spy for the first time.
Thank you, Pat.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kumar. This guy's trying to put out the negative energy into the fucking simulation.
I'm not. I'm just trying to find out what he said.
Kumar,
But-
a To the Spy.
Thank you.
Hey, atutas by.
I think we're all on the same page now. Okay?
Steve Rubella
Steve Rubella.
was promoting something new. So
What was Steve Rubella promoting?
his new show, podcast, book about ancient civilizations.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to call it something else.
It's
Let's
called-
call it prehistoric times.
Do you,
It's called Hunting More Stuff with
you?
Steve Rubella.
do you need
Well,
to have it something else?
It's confusing me.
Because you have a time frame for ancient.
You know what? Time is an illusion.
Well, the word he threw around was antiquity. So does that help?
If we live in a simulation, time doesn't even exist.
Well, okay. You're going to make me do it. I'm going to do it now instead of the post, Joe.
What is he doing?
I said
thought we
they
were
were going
taking
to
a break.
They said it couldn't happen. Here we go. Okay. Plug in.
What is happening here?
So
They said it couldn't happen. What are you doing?
imagine if you have a big photo album with lots of pictures in it. Each picture shows something happening, like you playing, eating, or sleeping. Now, in real life, it feels like you're moving from one picture to the next, right?
Okay.
Right.
That's what we call time. Some scientists think maybe there's no real moving at all. They say all the pictures are just sitting there in the album, and it only feels like things are changing because our brains are flipping through the pictures like a storybook.
Interesting.
So the idea, everything yesterday, today, tomorrow is already album, and the time is just part of the way we understand it. And that's just our
a
grasp
head
of
fuck.
reality.
That's a head fuck.
And there's a new theory like came out 2 weeks ago, which I think would tie into what he's saying, Campbell, if I can. And yeah, I love you guys. Stay tuned for the post, Joe. I still got a lot of cool stuff.
There's still half a fucking show
Did
left.
someone
I
rate
know.
Ranella? Did
There's
someone
no
else?
crime
did
in
someone?
promoting it.
Did someone other than me rate Rubella? Anyone?
Did not. I mean, in all fairness, I'm just going to go with what you guys said.
A 1. Kamar?
I give it a 3.
Okay.
I love Rubella.
You gave it a 3.
Steve Rubella, man.
All right. We're going to take a break. We're going to pay a bill, and we will be right back. We're back.
Nothing better than
Never
incomplete
get
pass.
sacked. Never get sacked.
You got it.
Never
you got
get
it, Pontiac.
sacked. That
You
is
got
the
it,
rule.
Pontiac.
Never get sacked. Yeah. Thank you to
And no
BetterHelp.
turnovers.
Thank you to BetterHelp and the Patreon. We appreciate all of you.
Thank you to all
Thank you
the
to
farm
listeners.
boys out there.
Yeah, the farm boys especially.
And girls, farm boys and
Yeah,
girls,
chat, farm
girls.
people.
Chat, we love
Farm
you. Chat,
people,
send
yeah.
gifts to me on
Yeah.
my @Camarba Bar Instagram or Facebook.
Farm girl sounds hot. Farm boy sounds gay.
Yeah.
I'm just
Nope.
saying
You're
it
not
like
wrong.
it is,
Yeah.
not with any malice
Yeah.
in my
No,
heart,
no,
Matt.
no.
Just
There's nothing wrong with being gay.
there is nothing
Right?
wrong with being gay.
In fact, they probably bring more to the simulation than the rest of us.
How do you figure?
They just seem chipper, happier.
That's interesting. Interesting.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're
Oh,
wrong.
I saw a really funny Tell Me I'm Wrong, and I wrote it down for you guys, or took a picture of it, rather. Wrote it down. What a dummy. Here, you ready for this one? Well, first of all, tell me this fucking guy doesn't look like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
That's just me. That's not even the meme.
It's pretty white, though.
Red onions are clearly purple. Prove me wrong.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with that.
I mean, they are clearly purple.
Yeah.
Unless they started real red and just over time,
We GMO'd them
To become
be
purple?
That could be it.
maybe because red is like the sign of poison. You know, like if you see a red
Yeah,
berry, you're
yeah,
not supposed
yeah.
to eat it.
But we love red
But
berries.
we love red berries. Yeah, it's a real oxymoron.
Yeah.
Or a real paradox. Anyways, okay, sorry.
Paradoxymoron.
Let's skip. There you go.
You're welcome.
2256, Protect Our Parks 14.
It's funny because I don't hate these.
No,
Like,
this,
I'm
is,
not-
this is the best one of these they've done.
Yeah. Like I'm never angry. Like I painted the doors upstairs while listening to this, so this actually made like
Oh no, I don't hate these either. 5 hours is way too long. They should be 3 hours like all the rest of them. But I like listening to them troll Joe. Like that never happens on any other podcast. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about though, to preface this episode. So you know those shows that talk about the podcasts and what's going on. I watched one of those little clip things, and it was Ari Shafir on Two Bears, One Cave. And they got into a discussion about why Sober October got canceled and Protect Our Parks moved in.
Yeah.
And you can see the feelings seeping out of Bert Kreischer. Like he's so angry that
he's gotta
he
be
got
butthurt.
replaced
Yeah,
by these
by
other
younger-
guys.
yeah.
And at one point, like Bert's like, you know, he's pretending not to care, but he's like almost crying. And Tom just turns to Ari and goes, I really don't give a shit.
And it means so much to Bert.
And so much to
I
Bert.
really
Bert-
don't give a
Bert
shit.
couldn't see the forest through the trees.
I like
Sober
that. No, I couldn't see
October,
the forest for the thieves.
where for what it was, and would have much preferred to be the Protect Your Parks.
Well,
guy.
and I get the impression now, granted, I don't know anything about anything, but as an outsider looking in, I think that maybe Bert isn't as loved as much by the other comedians as he was before he got so uber rich.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of become insufferable just from an outsider looking in. So I can imagine a guy like Mark Norman who's so much more talented, but maybe not as like fiscally whatever, and still has to kiss this guy's ass because he wants to be on his tour. And then he's like freaking out at guys' birthday parties because of the Thai food incident, you know?
Well, in Bert's defense, he was insufferable before he was successful.
I know, but there was always, listen, when a guy is not successful, but he's kind of a goofball, you're like, okay with it. You know what I mean?
You're hilarious.
Well, he's sort of going the way. Well, I'll see if he goes the way of Sam Kinison, which they talked about, and just goes crazy, like becomes the dirty dad.
Well, it'll be if he ever divorces Leanne.
Yes,
That'll be like
yes.
the tipping point.
That's when we can fall apart.
Because she's probably the only thing keeping him in line at this
100%,
point.
dude. Let's hope that doesn't
This
happen.
will be known as a That's Life episode. It was a running joke throughout the show.
What?
That's
That's
life.
life.
Okay, gotcha.
That's rice. That's gay. No, they didn't do that one. We truly have no idea the effects of ear pods on us. Do you wear wireless ear?
Mary
devices at all?
Mary has AirPods. I have the Beats in-ear ones. I have to stop using them because I'm not gonna lie, I kept getting ear infections. So there is something there, for sure.
Well, that might be something different. I was talking about you think that's caused from electricity?
I don't know. I've
Or
seen a
just
lot of.
rubbing,
I-
it's probably blocking a duct or just
that's what I'm saying. It might
obstructing
be doing
something for
something
you.
in there. Yeah.
because I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If I am in the kitchen listening to my podcasts and my phone's in the area, if I warm something up with the microwave, all hell breaks loose
Oh, it's like wah, 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 wah,
in,
wah.
in the headphones, and it. Then you start to think, well, wait a second, aren't the microwaves inside that thing? And then but is it what damage has been done?
I'm sure the earphones are not good for you, and the blue light is the real fucking killer. And those two combined together are probably just frying our brains.
And weakening our intuition side.
Kamar, exactly, and making us more likely to fall to the darkness of the Donald Trumps out there. I mean,
But do you think there's people that are aware of what this guy is saying? We're breaking out of Protect Your Parks, guys. This is crazy. Campbell.
yeah,
People know what he's saying, but they're
trying to fight
thriving despite it, and they want to keep things disrupted.
yeah. Well, like we were talking about,
That
Kamar,
hurts,
there's
that hurts.
always been groups trying to stomp out the people who want to, like, you know, pull back the curtain a little bit.
Yeah, the evil forces, if you will.
Yes, and not Jews.
I didn't say anything.
I saw where you were thinking. I could see inside the veil.
It's an important thing about Andrew Dice
But
Clay.
Matt, probably Jews.
It's an important thing about Andrew Dice Clay is I remember when he was the first canceled person from MTV, and he was like my hero. And
He was my hero for the shortest amount of time possible. Like literally, I can remember the year I liked Andrew Dice Clay. And then even as like what was it? Like I went from grade 6 loving Andrew Dice Clay to grade 7 thinking he was a total, like, it was
Jerk?
it was shtick. No, really, like even as a kid, I could see that.
I was too young.
I don't think he. I mean, I guess looking back, he's playing that character, so it, you know, it's a little bit of the like.
but were you over him before he was canceled?
I don't even remember him getting
If
canceled.
he gets canceled, and then you go, he's just a stick. I don't see what a big deal it is.
No, I don't even remember him getting canceled. That's not like part of my memory bank.
I
I just
only-
remember sorry, Matt. I just remember listening to that album religiously for a year. And at the same time, I was listening to License to Ill. Those two things were happening at the same time. And went into grade 7, Beastie Boys became my life, and Andrew Dice Clay fell to the side. You know what I mean?
I mean, Kamar, like I thought Adam Sandler's CD was hilarious, but it doesn't mean that now at 42, I'm like, Adam Sandler is without a doubt one of the funniest people
But
to ever
that
walk
one
the
with
earth.
the fucking talking goat holds up way better than fucking Andrew Dice Clay's baloney.
You're talking
go-
like Toll Booth Willie, like that
yeah,
album.
it's so funny.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to Andrew Dice Clay doing "Little Boy Blue" because he needed the money. It's so dorky, like it's so dorky. I'm sorry.
But hold on, keep in mind too, to say it's dorky, like it's tough to look at anything from the 80s and be like, that's so cool now. Just the 80s especially was like a very cheesy era. And you can shit on it all you want now. Just hear me out. It was kind of groundbreaking that like this guy, you know, this for all intents and purposes, nerdy New York Jew was doing this like, you know, greasy, dirty talking Italian. Like it was
That's the incredible part.
that's all I'm saying.
But it should have just been a part of his act. The fact that it made him into this mega superstar because of these nursery rhymes, to me, is kind of like it was just the start of everything that's gone wrong in Hollywood and that whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think everyone goes for the money, and that's where the money was for him. It's
Like, you know what the beauty of Andy Kaufman was?
go on.
There just was no money back then. He was doing all of that because he was a crazy person for the
He was
love
on
of the
fucking
game.
Taxi, like the biggest TV show in the country.
Yeah. Like, let me-
Him doing all that wrestling stuff with what's his name, there was no money in that for
probably
him.
true.
He
No,
got
but it was-
nothing
it-
but
no,
like
but
a
it-
concussion and a broken
And
neck.
headlines.
And headlines. Okay, fine.
But what I was trying to say about Andrew Dice Clay is that I thought he was canceled. Like had to get a job at like the guy from Cosby Show.
Yeah.
Had to start working in a grocery store. He got canceled, but he just went back to doing comedy. All those years where I said he was canceled by MTV and he never did it again, was doing comedy the whole time.
You see, as far as I knew, he was like Tom Green. had this like really big career going, decided to do a movie and be the starring actor in it, and which was Ford Fairlane, which was a total fucking disaster.
No, but the
and it
reason
ruined his career.
Yeah, but the reason it failed is because they canceled it.
Is that right?
That is
okay,
right.
I
Yeah.
listen.
It was
Well, it's
MTV.
not a good movie.
No, hold on.
I thought it was.
Hey. You're probably right there, but Kamar is correct.
It had one-liners and everything in it.
They tanked him just before that
Okay,
movie dropped.
if you're right, then,
It was
you're right, I
it was
guess.
when the height of "you'll never work in this town again" level shit. But despite all that, he went on the road. Just how we would have thought Carlos Mencia's life was ruined.
Yeah, and he kept
It wasn't.
touring.
He was still touring,
Yeah.
and it's
I mean, he was still touring, and I'm sure he still made some money. But like in the world of comedy,
this is relative.
well, I think that comedians want to be respected by their peers. I think that's part of it. Like they're all such egomaniacs.
Yeah, of course you want that, but you also just want to survive and make a living.
It's the same reason why he would go to the Comedy Store and bump the fucking guys and go up for 3 hours. Like,
Yeah.
and anyways,
I think it's
listen,
also an ego thing.
positive energy only.
Not that. No, I guess I'm complaining. Is it it's a real drop off security for an airplane to a train, and then to a bus. How much do you care about the passengers on a like?
Yeah, on a plane you get kicked off for vaping. On a bus you can fucking cut a guy's head off and eat his face.
You've got to go through a metal detector. They check your bags. If you get a train, to go on there, please.
Yeah.
And then a bus. The bus stop is like in the middle of nowhere. I don't even know if there's a bus station.
Yeah, people don't give a fuck about the
It's
people on
really
the
weird.
bus.
The train- well, you know what-
you could blow up any one of those things the same.
You know what's extra weird about the train is like even the bus, which is the cheapest form you can get your head off transportation, even the bus, before you step foot on the bus, they're like, ticket. Let me see your ticket. The train,
You get a while.
you're at Kingston and they're like, do you have a
Yes.
ticket?
Come
and
on.
you're like,
They give you the option to ride the train
Kamar,
for free.
can I
You
bring
just-
can I bring a little logic into the conversation for you? If you hijack a plane, you can fly said plane into a World Trade Center.
You can't
If
take
you
a train
you
anywhere.
can't take a train off the tracks, and you can't take a bus anywhere that really matters to do the amount of
That's true,
damage
yeah.
that a plane can do. That is the reason why you are seeing a difference in security. It's all about money. They don't want to waste their time on the bus because they can't do enough damage.
dude, I'm pretty sure I saw this week that the whole air marshal thing was just a big lie.
There's never a guy on there.
Yeah. That was just something that they told the public.
Well, I mean, good for them. It kept a lot of people in check.
And probably save some money without having to pay all those.
I just wonder how many times something popped off on a plane where someone was like, "Yeah, the air marshal's
probably-
the air
yeah.
marshal's about to get in here," and it's just like never. You know
And
what I
then
mean?
the gay steward comes down. Stop it. What was I going to say? There must have been air marshals at the start because that's what we do, right? Like when something like that goes wrong, we do the right thing for a little while, or we
Hold
do
on.
the over thing for a little while, and then we drop it from the wayside.
Let's just back up. Let's think about it from a realistic standpoint. I'm with you that they probably had 150 random air marshals on random U.S. flights. But if you think about how many flights go in and out of the U.S. on any given day, there aren't that many.
No, yeah, I hear you. But remember, look, one guy, presumably, we don't even know if this is true, had a bomb in their shoe.
Yeah, I know,
And
and
you
now
now
we all-
take
yeah.
your shoes off on every flight you get onto.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like, there's never been another shoe bomb attempt, even.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there has. I haven't heard of it.
I mean, again, nothing on the plane is flammable anymore, yet you can't bring a lighter on. You can't, you know what I mean? Like they have all these stipulations of things where but it's like, I couldn't light this thing on fire if you gave me a blowtorch. Like literally, every single thing on an airplane on the inside where you sit is, you couldn't light it on fire if I gave you all day. It's all fire retardant. So you'd think at this point, I'm amazed that
I agree. It is fire retarded.
yeah. Like you'd even think that in Dubai, although from everything I've heard, if you fly private, they're like, you can do whatever you want.
Oh, yeah.
Like smoke away.
No, you can't smoke.
I've seen many rappers that are like, yeah, you smoke on private.
I watch on TikTok this guy who owns a private jet thing.
Yeah.
Company.
yeah.
You know what? They're all fake. Don't even worry about it.
Keep a mind, Simon.
But he said you can do whatever you want on there.
Keep in mind,
unless you're threatening the staff.
keep in mind that guy rents them out. I bet if you're Drake and you have your own 747.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that's
sure you're just fucking
right,
smoking
right.
weed.
You
up
do
there,
whatever
right?
the fuck you want. Yeah.
Like who's gonna stop you? The
You're
pilot?
fucking tons of goats.
Your
on that
private
plane.
pilot
Yeah,
that you pay?
No, there's nobody.
Do you think
there's nobody to stop
Is
you.
a steward gonna stop? No, they all work for you.
No, that's true.
There's no one to stop you.
Dude, imagine how amazing life would be.
No, I cannot. I
if
can't
you
even
had
for
a
second.
private jet at your disposal.
Nope.
Imagine what that would change. You could go any whim you had at any time.
Yep.
You want to see the pyramids today, Kamar?
Yep.
Meet me tomorrow morning. We're going. Like,
The world is your oyster.
it's incredible. It would
Yeah.
be incredible.
No, dude, I think about it all the
That
time.
really is like, and this is coming from a person who hates flying.
Yeah. You only hate flying because you have to do it like the rest of us peasants.
It's the buildup. If I could show up at the airport
Walk
and you
onto
tell
the
me that
tarmac.
we're getting onto the plane and 45 minutes later I'm in New York City, I would do that. But
No, not just that. When you get on the plane, you can light a joint.
fine, but even if not, just commercial like that, it all changed for me when I took that flight to New York City and ended up in the air for 4 hours as we circled LaGuardia waiting to land, or JFK or whatever the fuck it was. Like, and I just realized how little control I had on that plane.
Yeah.
Like, let's put it this way. If you're on a train,
Yeah.
there's probably going to be a stop coming up. And if you hate it, you can get off.
Yeah.
You're going to waste your money, but you can get off. And if you're on a bus, like, you can convince that bus driver to pull over pretty much anywhere to let you off, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure I was on a Greyhound once and I was like, we're going to pass my house on the way to the bus station. And I was like, I don't have any bags. Just stop. And he was like, well, I'm not supposed to, but it's Greyhound.
I was just thinking to myself, I was like, there has to be some sort of regulation they have to follow where
Oh,
like, they
100%.
couldn't just let you out on the side
But
of the
we're
highway.
talking about bus drivers.
Yeah, no,
I
of
don't
course,
think they're
yeah,
the most
yeah.
like dedicated.
Slip them at 20.
It's physically possible. Where
It's physically
you
possible.
can't pull over a
You would
plane.
need a parachute.
Anyways, in this episode, it looks like Shane's a bit of a douchebag. He hung Jamie out to dry. Jamie was playing blackjack, and he got pocket aces or jacks, and he decided to split them. And Shane lent him $1,000.
This is such old news,
And
man.
Jamie did break him off, but Shane was making it seem like he didn't break him off. And
Shane made him. They brought
they
this
did this
up
up.
like 2 Protector Parks ago, and
Yeah.
Jamie and Shane like got into an argument on the show. It was great.
well, this brings me to my story. I was at the casino the other night, and it was in the high roller roulette room with
Yeah.
$100 min.
Yeah.
And this guy was like $15 short. And apparently every 24 hours, they give you one. You don't have to have the $100.
Okay.
You know, of chips.
Yes, I understand how it works.
You understand
yeah.
totally.
He's playing inside.
He was playing all the numbers.
Yeah.
And they said, you can't play. He'd already put his chips out. And that's how they found out he was short. And so they took all his chips off.
Yeah.
And he had like 4 on 7 and it hit 7. And he was just like, what the fuck are you doing? And I realized in that moment, I could have given him $15.
Yeah, but you would never.
50. If it's $15, like
Pay it forward.
if it was $100, I wouldn't. But
if you had given him that $15 and he had hit 4 on 7, he would have fucking cut you off.
or give me
huge.
$15. But anyways,
No, he would have given you 100.
I said up to $50. I think in that situation, I would do it. I regret not doing it that time, but not knowing how much it was. You know what I mean?
Lac Leamy are thieves. Last
No,
time,
this was at Hard Rock.
okay. Last time I was at Lac Leamy, I walked up to a roulette table. I put $100 on a line. They spin the wheel, and the ball is like about to bounce in, and then the pit boss runs over out of nowhere, takes my 100 off, and throws it back at me.
Why?
And I'm like, what's going on here? Then it lands in a number that I would have hit. I would have won $500. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, the table maximum is $100. And I was like, that's $100. And he's like, yeah, that's the table max. You can't play that. And I was like,
You gonna pay $99? You say?
no. So dude, I get in this huge argument with him, and everyone at the table is like, yeah, he's right. Like $100, like that's fine. And I was like, get someone above you. And he's like, no, there's no one. It's me. And I was livid. So I leave. I don't even play the 100 now. I'm just so pissed. I leave. I end up back there like a few weeks later, and I asked another dealer that I know well. I was like, tell me I can't put 100 on this rate here. And she was like, of course you can. What are you talking about? The table max is 100.
Do you think they can see what number is going to hit and they knew you were going to hit? Like,
No,
to
I just-
save
I-
$500, it seems crazy.
You know what I genuinely think? Because I know a lot of the pit bosses at roulette at Lac Leamy, and I'd never seen this guy before. I just think he didn't know the game, which seems crazy. And I just hate that there's no one I can go to at
There's
that point.
no accountability.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious because they can just check the camera. Like, what was my number on? What did it hit?
Yeah,
Pay me
I
out.
made the fucking bet. Yeah.
Pay me out.
And if I had lost, like it's so funny too, because like I've seen those scenarios where like it loses and they just take the money. And
Well,
it's
the
no
best
big fucking
story
deal.
is when they're kicking my brother out. He's at the table. He can't get back into the casino because they check his ID and it's expired. And he's like, "You stupid assholes. I'm at the table." And they're like, "Well, we'll bring you your money out." He's got $600. They bring him out like $3,500. They had taken the stack from the guy next to him who
that's
was also
great.
not at the table. And my brother's like, "Oh, well, if I tell them the truth, they'll just let me back in." So he's like, "Oh, no, this isn't mine." And they're like, "Well, you still can't come in." So then he self-banned himself for 5 years out of principle.
Dude, I saw the craziest shit ever one night. The roulette dealer paid out 3 bets that shouldn't have been paid out.
And they tracked the guys down in the casino.
No, this dickhead at the table is like, "Hey, those bets shouldn't get paid out." And
Oh my God.
dude, Simon, I had no money on this. I had no money on the spin, and I'm giving the guy daggers. I'm
Dude,
like,
if
I
there's-
was like, dude, shut your
If
fucking
there's a
mouth.
gangster at that table, he is waiting for that guy outside, no doubt. Anyways, this is so
Yeah,
boring.
sorry.
Can we move
Back to
on with
yeah.
the
Well,
episode?
I mean, we're talking about protect our parts.
As far as a 5-hour episode goes, this was the best 5-hour episode of them I've ever seen. I give it a 2.
That's literally all he had. We were cooking there, Simon.
There were some things I wanted to talk about from this episode about Joe that were just so obnoxious.
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 They were just so obnoxious.
But I guess I won't because that's bringing negativity into the world.
Okay, so again, I actually do give this one like probably a 3. I mean, probably a bit long, but I really like these guys, and it did help me paint some doors. So
What did you watch? Ari's new special?
I did not know. Listen, it's tough. I watched American Primeval. Okay,
Yeah, I can't believe how quickly you went through it too.
that night.
It is hard to stop watching that show. In all fairness, like for whatever flaws it has, you want to see what happens on the next episode.
You know what the beautiful part of it is too, Simon, is seeing limited series and 6 episodes. I know in my head, I'm like, I can bang this out right now, whole story. I don't have to be like, ooh, season 2. You know, the weird thing is though, they could easily do like a Fargo style season 2.
Of just a whole different thing happening.
Go
somewhere.
somewhere else. Like
for sure.
it could be American Primeval, the saga of California. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to.
Yeah, it's a great fucking name for that series.
Yeah.
American Primeval, because that's really what the Old West felt like. No,
Dude, it's
well, it's just so lawless.
They saved a lot of money by not having homes for the Mormons.
You know what's a yeah.
you know what I really liked
know-
about. Sorry, you know what I really liked about it, Simon, is like if you take Deadwood, which I guess at the time people were like, oh, you know, like seemed very real, set design, costume, whatever. Like this one felt like when the Mormon leader guy is in the guy's office,
Brigham Young.
Brigham Young. Wow, when he's in the guy's office and they're talking, like his office is just like piles of pelts and then just like shit. You know what I mean? Just like mud and shit. And like, it doesn't have any, like, there's no like accoutrement. There's no nice anything. It's just like a wood shack with fucking
That's
pelts.
you're talking about the guy who owns the fort.
Yeah.
That's
Bring
the
'em.
brother from. That's the brother from
He's been in a lot
Boardwalk
of stuff.
Empire.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's really good in it. I thought.
He's great. I've never seen him in something.
Sorry, what I wanted to say was one of the most devious things that the American government ever did, and it was really early on in their formation, which really shows you like what this whole fucking thing was built on, is the giving the plots of land to the immigrants that were closer to the indigenous people, to the Indians, knowing that these warring tribes were going to fucking rip these people apart. They were like fodder, and it was keeping them away from the cities.
I mean, what I found really interesting when
That's so diabolical.
what I thought about was like, when you think about the U.S. Army now, I thought back, like when I was watching that, I immediately thought to myself, like the reason they had a big army to begin with was just really to like keep their own shit in check.
It was to protect the railroads. That's
No,
what
I
it
know.
was all about.
No. So this is what I'm saying. Is like it's all just in this fight. Like they're fighting the Mormons, they're fighting the natives, they're fighting a battle on all these fronts. And then when it's all said and done, when they've established the union, and when it's all ready, they have all. It's like, well, this is how we got here. You know, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I feel like that's kind of.
You know what wasn't a bad show? It just kind of got a little like repetitive and out of control at the end was shit. It was all about the making of the railroad there. It was a Western show.
Lonesome Dove, no.
No, fuck,
them.
man. You don't know what I'm talking about? It was on AMC, I think.
No.
In any event, I wanted to see where the Mormons were living because they were clearly had nicer clothes. Like they must have had some sort of city or whatever because everyone else is living like a squirrel.
Well, no, Kamar. I'm pretty sure what you're seeing is how Salt Lake City was formed.
That's
where,
right.
Where was he sleeping in a tent?
Well,
yeah,
no.
they were. I'm pretty sure they were nomadic, and then Brigham Young founded
Brought
Salt
them to
Lake.
Utah.
He founded Salt Lake
But
City.
where was he sleeping at night?
I think in tents.
In a
Not
tent.
with the militia.
Yeah, I
Well,
think
because
so.
I think they were transient. They were moving around. They had no home base.
That's
that
what I'm
was
saying.
the whole
Yeah,
point.
that's how I believed it.
Yeah,
went.
no, I totally agree.
I think because at that time too, they give you some history. When he's like, "How many wives do you have now?" and he's like, 25. He died with 56 wives. So it's showing you the kind of like
They could have done a mock-up of because I thought yes they're living in tents and that's why they want to move into the base, but they didn't want they wanted to
you just wanted
destroy
to
the
burn.
base.
Well,
so
spoiler
again,
alert.
Hell on wheels.
I didn't see that.
Anyways, worth watching the first couple of
Okay.
seasons.
See, that's the problem with television. That's why I just, in closing on this American Primeval thing, that's what I like about the limited series is like, there's a lot of series where you're like, yeah, watch the first couple seasons because they just have to keep churning out shit. Whereas
Yeah.
this, it's just like,
I find with the mini series, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
I find with the mini series that it's almost like the director knows I only have to do 6 episodes. I'm going to do 6 banger episodes.
It's a graphic novel versus a comic book. They got to keep on going.
Sure.
well, it's almost too like,
Thanks, Kumar.
it's almost like this guy wrote The Revenant and it's like, well, I have this story that's too long to be a film, but I'm not going to spit out multiple seasons. So I'll just write this long,
Interesting.
you know what I mean? The 6 hour,
Yeah.
7 hour.
Yeah.
That's
No,
why
I thought it was good. Again, it had flaws. There were some things I would have changed, but as a whole, thought it was some of the best TV that's come out of Netflix in a while.
Yeah, you're right. Like when it was done, because I was telling people after, like I was 3 episodes in, and I went to trivia, and I was like, "Show's a 10 out of 10. You got to watch it."
Yeah.
And then I finished it, and I was like, "It's probably an 8."
Well, because of that wolf scene,
Yeah, there's
that
a few-
really
yeah,
drops
yeah.
like a
Why
whole
they can't
point
bust
for
into a
me.
house, but that's a dream, isn't it? Or it is
It's not
real?
a dream. It's real, and it's totally unnecessary.
So not real.
It doesn't add to the story at all.
I
At
agree,
all.
yeah.
It doesn't need to be there. It's almost like they just wanted to have this big wolf scene with the kids.
And every time she tried to be compassionate, it just fucked them.
I mean, it was just
Doesn't that show you we're over compassionate?
no.
Simon, you
it's
know what
just women, man.
Simon?
They're fucking dum dums.
Piece of shit.
You know what I might offer up? There's a chance that it was a book, and that in the book the wolves were a much larger part. Like the wolves.
Sure.
Well, hear me out. 'Cause
Like the bear.
like yes, exactly. But like maybe the wolves in the book had been stalking them relentlessly for the whole trip, and you know what I mean. And that was just a narrative that they couldn't really squeeze into this. I'm just saying, I'm trying to give them the benefit
There's
of the
a
doubt on that one.
great scene in Landman
Landman.
where he goes out his backyard and he sees this coyote and it's all majestic and he's looking at it and then bang, his neighbor fucking blasts it. She's like, they eat the dogs in the neighborhood. It's just this amazing juxtaposition.
Kamar's right. Like the more I think about Taylor Sheridan, the more I'm like, this guy has to be using AI.
He's a fucking dork.
No, but I just love the idea of like, okay, so it's like he's just typing in the prompt, like, okay, a script, very American.
Or no,
Isn't it
just like the last one, but now we're here.
Isn't it funny that both him and Peter Berg put themselves in everything they do?
Like a lot of
Tarantino
directors
does
do
that.
that. Yeah, every director.
Yeah, I know.
Scorsese
it's-
does that.
No, he doesn't.
He does a lot.
Well, you know what?
Lee does it.
Well, you know who
Stan
was
Lee does it. Yeah.
Hold on. Someone this week was talking about Kate Capshaw in Temple of Doom.
Oh yeah, because she's married to Spielberg.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is like he was like you forget that it was Ranella. He was like
Yeah.
the teeth back then. You forget that not everyone had perfect teeth. And then I'm like, dude, the only reason she was in that movie
Yeah.
is because she was
Yeah.
married to Steven
Yeah, yeah,
Spielberg.
yeah.
Like 100 across
Yeah.
the board, 100%.
I was watching this thing, of course, on TikTok.
Yeah.
because that's what I do.
Yeah.
It was showing Tim Burton's evolution of the women he works with and then marries and then ditches and then because he has these muses. No, but it's true. Like it starts with this one I can't remember. Then it moves to Helena Bonham Carter, and then it moves to there's like 5 of them, but it's like you can see for these 5 movies, he does all the movies with this one girl. And then he does this next movie and he has this new actress and then he ditches the old one to move on to the new. It's crazy.
It's like Leo dumping a girl on her 25th birthday.
And he just
picking up a
keeps getting
19-year-old.
weirder and weirder looking.
Kamar, what else you got? That's it for are we done? Sorry.
I'm stunned we got this much.
Who is your favorite Protect Our Parks guy?
Shane, obviously.
Yours is Shane.
Was Shane to this Jamie debacle?
Mine is Ari. Not as a comedian. I mean, it's probably Shane too, but I have a soft spot for Ari.
I do think what we're not seeing about Shane is that, like Kamar saying, I think he has like the real ability to be an asshole in him. Because like I've seen a lot of Barstool shit that he's done with them
100%.
too, where like
100%. Yeah.
like the one where someone like I can't remember who it was. I think it's Caleb Presley like gets in the front seat when Shane gets out of the car to go to the bathroom, and Shane is like,
Tell him his friend's dead.
Is this where you want to die? Because this is it. I'll do it right here. He's like all drunk, like I'll fucking. I guess Notre Dame had just lost too.
But have you seen that one where they tell Caleb Presley that like his friend died or whatever,
No.
and they go on and he's like genuinely upset?
No.
Yeah. Anyways, he's gone, eh? Him and Glennie Balls left Barstool.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've been watching a lot of that
What are they doing?
Survivor thing, Matt.
I told you it's incredible.
It's so funny because it's so real. Like the feelings that are going on. Dude, did you see? You must have seen
I've seen it
where
all.
the girl
Rhea.
is shooting, throwing the things at the
Oh,
goal.
Megan making money?
And he's right
And
beside
Dave,
him going,
"You
how
let
the fuck
Megan-"
is he out? And she's like, I can hear you. And he's like, oh.
Dude, I think Kamar won't watch it because he's watching Mr. Beast. He says he can't handle both. It's some of the best television I've ever watched.
Were you outside when I gave Kamar his flowers about Mr. Beast?
Yeah, I was,
I
yeah.
watched it. Great show, except for Mr. Beast.
Okay. I'll give this Protect Our Parks a 3.5.
I'm going to give it a 3, and that's just because I think they need to be shorter.
Okay, fair enough. Hey, Simon, you can rate them however you want.
But I thought they all did a great job. Mark Norman was less annoying than usual, which I thought was nice.
Maybe he was extra hungover.
Maybe.
Kamar, name and a number. Let's wrap this bad boy up.
2257 Brian Callum.
God, you know who has to just be steaming? We all know who I'm going to say.
Brendan Schaub.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Brian Callen on there again. And he said in this episode, you know who's really into arm wrestling right now? Brendan Schaub. And you know what Joe said? Nothing. Because he's not interested. No, but like it was actually kind of an interesting thing. I'm like, really? He's like training to be an arm wrestler? And Joe could not be bothered.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, there is some dude, there's a riff between Joe and Bert too. I don't know if you saw oh well, it was on Rogan, so you must have seen it when he had who's the guy who's like the medical guy who's not a medical guy, but he knows all the like how to keep your body good. Kamar. He's like been on Rogan a million
More
times.
plates,
Robbins.
more dates.
No, he's like he has a podcast that's super popular. Huberman. So he has Huberman on, and Huberman says, "Yeah, they're talking about Bert quitting drinking," and he's like, "No, he's serious about it because he asked me for help." And Joe's like, "He asked you for help because he wants to talk about himself. So he's asking you for help, but he really just wants you to have a like." It was so fucking brutal.
Yeah.
You don't remember this? I'm going to show you the clip later. I wish
yeah.
we had this rigged up, but yeah, it's really brutal. Like really brutal. You don't remember that either?
He's not paying attention to you. He's already checked out.
What
He's
are
in-
you
he's
what are you
in the
doing
post
over
show.
there, man? Cuz we just started this
The
episode.
studio was de-weaponized for Trump. We never got any insight into
Oh,
what
he was
the
looking at Trump shit.
the making of
It is.
That would be a neat angle.
The
for
making
this.
of what? I'm sorry.
How he got Trump
Oh,
in
the
there.
prep,
whole,
what happened
yeah.
before. I remember Mark Maron had
to get
Obama.
Trump into
Yeah.
the studio.
and just what yeah.
Well,
mean, it is hilarious.
Trump wasn't the president at the time.
Yeah.
And
He's
had
a former
been,
president, though.
I know. So they have security, but he had been on Nelk. He had been on Theo Vaughn. I don't think
Okay,
like Joe's
that's
is
fair.
way
That's
more
fair.
secure
That's
than
fair.
those. It's like a private location with
Yeah, the point is
security
that they came in and they were like, "You're gonna have to get rid of the axe off the wall, the decorative axe, just on the off chance that you decide to take
Or
the axe
we
off
can't
the wall
trust him.
and kill Donald Trump."
werewolf.
Like it's, you know what I mean? It's
I mean, I think that's kind of a no-brainer, though. Like, you're not going to have fucking Trump on your podcast and have him sitting on the fucking Game of Thrones throne.
Okay, Simon, it wasn't interesting.
I guess for me, Simon, I'm like, do we really in this day and age believe that Joe Rogan is a sleeper cell waiting to get
Dude, that would
Donald
be so
Trump
incredible.
alone
This
in a
was
room?
the longest fucking con by
ever.
the CIA. Mike Baker pops out of the trunk and just shoots Trump dead.
Hilarious. Just shoots Trump dead.
I don't care for your negativity, just by the by.
He's talking to you.
I think you're being negative doing that. My
See what he did there? Throw it back at you. Throw it back at you.
my vision.
He used negativity
Yeah.
against negativity
Yeah.
to try and make positivity.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Not how
that is how it works.
Oh, you know what was interesting from the Watson episode or whatever his name was?
Wesley Huff.
Was that his name?
No,
Wesley Huff?
Campbell.
Campbell. He was saying because this is a system, everything has like negative, positive is the same, but in two poles. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then it's kind of like the as above, so below from the Bible.
Or Stranger
It's
Things.
almost like they got it, or Stranger Things. He said that was part of any program. There's always like
There's a reaction.
and
Yeah.
yeah. It's interesting. It really is like religion got it right, and then you know what it was probably. They probably did get it right. And then just like everything else, as soon as commerce got involved, like as soon as the church started like using its power to make money, that's when the downfall happens.
What else you got, Kamar? Go ahead. We know you're waiting.
Los Angeles recovery. Any predictions?
Oh, I
it
heard
always
some
recovers.
interesting shit.
Well, no, that's caused.
Did you guys hear the Olympic?
Yes, but also if it's not that, the evidence has come clear that it may really be because of wokeness. Like it can be defined in a
Wokeness
couple
started the
ways.
fire?
Well, at the beginning, there's a bunch of senior firefighters who were let go because they did not get vaccinated.
Yeah.
So this
That's a problem,
begins
yeah.
a part of experience and stuff in the fire department.
Yep.
Then you have the appointment of certain people to fill demographics.
The lesbian.
Demographics, whatever it is, the water person, the budget cuts, the stopping, checking fire hydrants. There's enough stuff going
I mean,
on.
dude, don't you think, just in all fairness, don't you think you could see it both ways? Like if the American government didn't spend so much on military, they could take a huge part of that to dedicate towards firefighting. Like both sides are responsible for the I don't see that.
It would
I don't
appear on
see it.
paper. Well, they played the clip of the person saying, "Well, if your husband's in a fire, they already made a bad decision."
I mean, Kamar, I guess my question
There's
to you,
something glaring there.
It's not.
my question to you is this: like that clip of Joe that's been going around of him calling this thing, where he was like, with the right wind.
Is from Fear Factor.
Sure. I guess my question to you.
No, it was recent.
No, it was on the.
No, he said a guy on Fear Factor told
him,
me
yeah.
this is going to happen.
My point is, if someone like 15 or 20 years ago, hypothesized this, I guess my question to you is, does the 13 million and the DII hirings really make that big a difference? Like, we don't know because we don't live in that.
Well, no, and then it ends into the policy to protect the finch in the mountains so they wouldn't cut fire lines. It's the providing water for the smelt. There's just, like you said, with one thing, then you could say it's this or that, but the whole addition of it all goes to like, if we do what feels right, everything will work out. It doesn't work that way.
No, I agree with that. Hey,
And
hey,
and,
hey.
and this is only after the fact adding it up. But if it is for the Olympics, that's even more serious.
I'm just gonna say if they turned all their warplanes or a quarter of their warplanes into water dropping planes, they would be able to control these fires. Like this is a money issue.
How about
They're
that?
not spending enough
They
money.
could have had those water planes there before.
They should have them in fields waiting.
They knew it.
Listen, protect your own country first. The people in your own country
Did you see
first.
the super scoopers that we sent down from Quebec?
Yeah,
Well,
but
we're the only one
they
that
should
make
have
them.
fleets of those things.
Well, they will
dude.
after this, but they also had
No,
helicopters to
Kamar,
do it.
they won't.
Well,
They won't. They
that
won't
remains to be
learn
seen.
their
This is
lesson.
just Simon. You don't know
Remains
that.
to be seen.
They might vote him out, and everything could change.
You'd think after Hawaii, they would have fucking smartened up.
They
I mean,
should-
I've seen
Or no, about the fires last time in fucking LA.
I've seen these things in Japan where they have like, so it's like a contained system where if a fire breaks out, they have these like turrets almost.
It's a 200-year-old village made of wood. Yeah.
Oh, you've seen it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like,
Well, obviously that's the solution.
is it not?
It is because it's a 100-year problem.
Yeah, it's
You
not
just have it
going
set up,
away.
and it just goes like that around both houses.
Yeah.
I would also say if you have a pool, you would have a hose that goes up to an ugly rod that doesn't look good, but in case of fire, it just starts shooting out a mist of water.
I said this a long time ago that every roof should have a sprinkler system in those fucking places.
In the fires, people with pools did use that water to try to protect their houses.
And it's insane to me that the insurance companies don't demand something like that. Like if you live on a fucking
Absolutely.
cliff's edge, the insurance companies want to make sure that your fucking house is on stilts that are able to support the house. It's just crazy. It seems so short-sighted. It really, really does.
I feel like we should have a conversation about insurance companies because they're a big fucking problem.
You know, they're just part of the commercial fucking tragedy. Of
No, I know, but we can like you can regulate them, and they should be regulated where they're not for profit.
Okay. So they should be run from the government.
I'm not saying that. You can look, not for profit doesn't mean that people at the company don't make money.
Yeah.
You can still pay people and
Yeah.
you can pay them well.
Yeah.
It just
There's
means
no
that there's no
shareholders.
shareholders.
Yeah.
The company doesn't turn a profit in the normal
that's
sense.
why I said the government, because essentially government bodies shouldn't have shareholders.
Sure, the government is incapable of running anything properly. That's my issue. But you get the point I'm
Yeah,
trying to
no,
make.
I totally
The point I'm
agree.
trying to make is that if you don't have shareholders, you pay out properly where you should, and you don't run into issues where it's like, well, we're no longer going to cover you for
And
any.
you know what? I bet you still make money. You want to know why, Matt? Because they pay out claims way less than people
course.
pay into.
Yeah.
That's just the nature of the game.
Dude, listen, I bet on car insurance alone, they make their nut. Actually, fuck that. House insurance. Like most people probably live 30 years without making a serious claim on their home.
Yeah, because usually what happens is you have like a $2,500 flood in your basement, and your premium is $5,000, and you're
you
just
do it
paying
yourself,
that out
yeah.
of pocket. Like that's what fucking happens.
That's what I said. Other than your house burning down or like some catastrophic like sinkhole in the
But
back.
then they have a way to get out because
Yeah,
it's an
yeah, of
act of
course.
God.
Yeah, I know,
like,
yeah.
anyways, you know.
But I go
what?
back. That's why I go back to like these companies. When you look at how much money they make, and I hate to be all Fight Club about this, but like when you go look at their bottom line, they make so much fucking bread.
Yeah.
year after
Yeah,
year,
yeah, yeah.
so
Oh,
much.
yeah, yeah.
And for them to have the audacity to be like, this family lost their home. Well, we're not paying out because of some loophole or
Yeah,
technicality. Like it's disgusting.
fucking bullshit.
It's insane.
Well, I mean, that Fight Club scene is really just everything you got to see, right? Where he's breaking down what he does for his job about the cars that have the defect.
Yeah, and if
but
it's 1.5%
cheaper for
cheap,
them
yeah.
to let all those people die than it is to
Yeah,
and pay out the
paying out less.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. You want to know what's crazy is that whole Volkswagen thing, like how quickly people forgot about that.
Quick.
So quick.
What is there? They paid the fine. What are you going to do?
You're hilarious.
No. I mean, it's a joke.
They should go out of business. There should be no more Volkswagen after something like
But
that.
that'd be up
Like,
to the public to decide to vote with their dollar. Like, would a government put them out of business?
yeah, and we're
Crap
fucking
out.
crazy as people that we
No.
didn't vote with our
like
dollars.
I mean, hold
Stylish
on.
cars.
Hear me out. Listen, the Volkswagen one is a little less egregious because that was just like they were lying about emissions.
Yeah,
Right?
you can
It
only
wasn't-
care about
okay,
the planet for
okay,
that.
okay.
It wasn't like they purposely didn't
What
put
about the
airbags in.
Toyota one
Which one was
where
that?
they knew about the brakes?
Yeah, see, listen, when you knowingly let a product out that you know will lead to death, that's like a you shouldn't be in business thing anymore.
Yeah.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is the Volkswagen one where it's like we lied about the, how
I
clean.
don't know. I just find when a big company like that gets proven to be liars like that,
But hear me out.
how do you trust them on anything? And they're the guys you need to trust on the safety of your children and things like, no thanks.
Hold on, hear me out. The market should work that one out. I think in that case, the giant fine is probably good enough. We, the people, then should have been like, we're done with Volkswagen.
But hold on, the giant fines we know are a joke. Like, look at the Sacklers.
No, that's different.
Is it?
Well, yeah, a little bit.
I don't. Okay. Yeah. I mean, agree to disagree.
Listen, we're also talking about a company that actively worked with the Nazis. So,
Yeah, they should never be in business in the first place. It's crazy.
It's a weird.
No, but that's one of those like, you want to live in this new fucking great America? Well, you're gonna have to abide by a couple of Nazis. We've been through this before.
My point is just like if that didn't do it, I doubt that they lied on emissions tests. Will do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Anyways.
go ahead, Kumar.
My prediction is they're going to clean up the area, and there's going to be a lot of like temporary RVs and trailer parks for a while until they get back on their feet.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask. Sorry. So the Olympic, we skirted around that, but
What's the conspiracy theory here?
that the Olympics are coming and they need the land. Was that it, Kay?
Well, they have to build facilities.
Facilities. So in order
beach
to
volleyball or whatever.
Now they just won't build the houses, but
I see.
the
They'll build a
business
fucking giant
will-
facility there
exactly.
too. I see.
And then what was the other conspiracy? I heard another one too. It was not the Olympics. I don't know, maybe low income housing. There was a same as like Maui, right? They wanted the land back from these.
From the indigenous
Oh,
people.
what was it? It's that they can tear down one house and build
A condominium.
right and just
Yeah, yeah.
make 100 times the money. It's like these little houses are actually slowing them down at this point.
Yeah, so they'll give everyone that had a $3 million house, they'll give them $2.5 million, and then they'll buy the land up
And
and they'll
make
build a fucking
$100
$400
million,
million complex that they'll make $1 billion.
What's
off of.
crazy is I thought the world stopped during the fires, and like LA life was going on just normally.
Well, yeah, I mean,
There was traffic jams in certain areas, but you know what I mean? But it felt like it was, if you look at a map of what burnt and Ottawa would be gone.
yeah,
If
LA's a
you,
big
if you
city.
can imagine what it'd be like the next day, it'd just be shocking. I don't think that can happen here.
I have a hard time seeing the footage because you don't even know what is actually that fire and what's just some other fire that they're showing you pictures of. Like, we're really in a problem. I know we talk about this all the time, but I can't tell you how many times on a weekly basis I get tricked by something I see on the internet.
Oh yeah, it's a big problem.
Like
I've
so many times.
I'm a month off of all social media. I have none of it on my phone. It feels great.
Really?
Yeah, like incredible.
So what do you do all day?
Nothing.
Brian had his historic moment when he pushed back against Elon and Vivek. And Vivek's really faded away. He's probably going to
Thank
run for
God.
governor of Ohio. And Elon is just out to lunch. But I think Elon, again, like Trudeau or someone else, thinks they're doing the best thing. And
Yeah, I don't think Trudeau ever thought he was doing the best thing. I think he's been compromised from the second he came into office. He had us
still think you're doing
all
the best thing?
fooled.
you
No,
still think you're doing the best thing. Even like, look, your people are going to hate you, but this is for the best of everyone. It can't be.
I think I agree with
rich.
Kumar.
You'll be rich, and people will suffer, but it'll feel so good. I can't believe that.
I think that anybody who came out of Klaus Schwab's school of whatever,
No, but you're missing the point. Is you go to that school and you leave thinking we got to crack a few eggs.
We'll
but the
feed more people,
But
da,
the
da, da.
end result of this is the right thing, and that's where I agree with
Then
Kumar. If you would think of this Klaus Schwab school, of
I
whatever.
think that like the Illuminati or whatever you want to call them,
yeah,
they are looking for power. That is the end goal for them, is to get more power.
yeah.
There's no, we're doing this for the greater good of anybody. This is all so we can get more power. Power is what they are looking for. Fear is what drives their turbine, the same way fucking probability drives the Matrix's turbine. No, I'm just saying like that's, and making money is part of that because it fuels their progression to get more power, but that's all they fucking want. And there is no good in there. It's pure evil.
Gotta get my weed.
What do we learn from Ahab and the whale?
From what?
Ahab and the whale.
Sometimes you got to let things go.
That's what it is, right? He what happens?
He got consumed by
What'd the whale do to him?
attacked his boat or something. I don't even know. Yeah, something like that. Gave him a scar. I
And he
don't know.
got in his way.
Ate his leg. Was that it?
He didn't want to get his leg back?
No, he just became. That's the whole white whale thing, Kamar. That
I know it's an important lesson,
no,
though.
the saying. It was like Kramer and the parking ticket there.
Yeah. It's his white whale.
That's sometimes you can't let revenge overwhelm because it'll take over your life. Like what's the
It's like
What's the
expecting that if you
poison
drink
thing?
poison,
Yeah.
it'll,
it kills
That's
both
revenge.
the guy and
resent.
the recipient and the donor.
I don't think that's it. I think it's that it's like drinking poison and expecting it to kill the person that you're.
Obsession can destroy you.
Oh, we really fucked that
Yeah,
up, eh?
totally butchered. Pull it up, because I think it's worth. Saturday Night Live is 50. Wow, man, we're old.
I didn't know this, but I just watched this thing. So he got kicked out for a while.
Lauren Michaels
Lauren Michaels.
kicked
I
out
did-
by whom?
The
network?
Yeah, like
Steve
he was
Jobs.
off and then it tanked and then they brought him back in to save it and he didn't. It tanked again for another 2 seasons and then he like brought somebody in, some
Eddie
group
Murphy.
in that fucking.
Feels like Eddie.
What was I
Murphy.
looking up?
You were looking up the poison.
Oh, poison
The
quote,
idiom,
yeah.
poison idiom.
Oh, Inner Excellence was the book that AJ was reading.
Yeah, it's a bestseller. All of a
I
sudden,
listened to the guy on the podcast. Very interesting fellow.
the guy who wrote it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was the pitcher. Got injured.
Yeah.
His whole life was baseball.
Yeah.
Then he got injured, unforeseen, and just was like really bummed. So he moved to the desert to help his buddy coach baseball. No TV. This is before streaming and stuff. So he just cut himself off.
Yeah.
And got into like what athletes do, psychology, whatever. And he got into coaching after like 5 years, doing all this research, asking people questions and stuff.
And what? So is he an author or a coach?
He's an author and a coach. Like he coaches people. He wrote this book.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's super interesting. But it's like it's all like breakdown, like something that happened to you that is impeding you being successful in sports. So you have to. He talked all about love in it and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But you have to that thing about being broken down to get to where you're going and what your motivation is to do something. You start saying like, if you could have a house, the most beautiful house with everything you had in it,
Yeah.
everything you could want, but you can't share with anyone. You can't tell anyone about it. Or you could live in an apartment, but you're happy and content. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you wanting something? And you have to know what you're doing this for as an idea. It was very interesting.
Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
I think I was pretty close there.
Yeah,
That
you're
was-
spot on.
I wouldn't go that far.
I hope that
but-
Simon reading that out loud helps him realize that.
You know what's funny? Simon sat here last night watching a football game that he didn't really care about, although he did seem very invested in Detroit.
Cared about me.
Watching, like, the fights that Simon watched were not great. And then the second he left, barn burner fight, like incredible fight.
I was already falling.
Oh, I know you.
asleep.
Hey, I'm not criticizing you. We were just happy you showed up, Simon, as always.
I'm an old guy now.
Yeah.
I think I'll get a T-bone.
It's
for
funny. I
lunch.
used to remember my dad getting home from work and he'd fall asleep in his chair every night. And he'd sleep for like 4 hours and then he'd go to sleep and then he'd wake up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And that's the same with me. I'm like, I go to bed at 11 and then I wonder why I'm like wide awake at 5 o'clock.
Father like son.
No, it's just you have to stay up later so you can sleep in a little bit. You know?
Yeah, it does help. Yeah.
Anyways, whatever, man. Whatever.
We're done. That's it, Kamar.
There's some inside jokes that Joe is making at Brian's expense, which they know what they're talking about, but we don't.
Listening to Joe
Oh, yeah, we were talking about Brian. That's
talk
hilarious.
about how he only had 2 auditions ever and got both the series.
I know,
And you're
it's-
like, dude, do you hear yourself?
Oh no, he's aware he's lucky. Come on.
I think and he said something else the other day too. Oh, how he tips $500.
$100. It was $100.
I believe him.
And how you won't
believe him.
Nobody at this table will notice
Yeah.
$1,000 out of their
100.
bank
He said
account.
100. He said none of you will notice 100 out of your bank account.
And that's true. And you just
then
can't
he-
accept the success that's going on out there.
Then he doubled down.
Kamar's cousin, Brian, he worked at a bar in Vancouver, and I went and saw him one day, and he was like, dude, you'll never believe this. And he pulled a receipt out of the till, and he's pointing at it. He got a $100 tip, and I was like, oh, sick. And then I was like, oh, 100 on 10 is great. And he's like, that's not it. He's like, look at the signature. It was Tony Hawk. He was like, Tony Hawk came in, had a beer, paid with his credit card, tipped me $100.
You have to if you're rich.
He was like, I chatted with him for a while. He's like, he says he tips everyone $100 everywhere he goes. And I was just like, that's the life.
That's what it is. So see,
That
Simon,
is the life.
No, I'm not getting on Joe for giving $100 tip. I think that's great.
but everyone else should do that too.
I'd be broken one purchase.
No. Everyone is rich.
Yeah.
But yeah, I give this. It's just a weird. Brian's back. They're acting like it's his first time ever on the show. Just there's some unsaid stuff that makes it uncomfortable. I give this a 2.5.
It's funny because if it wasn't Brian Callen, I'd be like, this guy seems so thirsty. But it is Brian Callen. And so you're like, he just always seems that way.
I wonder if Joe is like sorry for cutting Brian off, or that's just that showbiz baby. You know what I mean? Like they're such good friends.
I think if Brian had moved to Texas, if Brian didn't have things keeping him in LA, and
Schaub. That's what you're saying. If he wasn't
no,
attached
he had a
to
kid.
Schaub.
No, his kid and his ex-wife.
Well, that must have been part of it because Joe's wife was really good friends with Brian's ex-wife. So
I've heard this before.
I still think if Brian had moved to Texas, if Brian moved to Texas right now, I bet he'd be on like all the time. I just think it's a. And then, yeah, there's definitely something with Joe and Schaub because his life has fallen apart.
there is something with Joe and Schaub. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to fucking cross Joe, obviously, because you become persona non grata.
Or you get big enough that you can't fail. Which I think Brendan just did not get over there. Like Schultz doesn't need. Schultz seems like he's becoming asshole level stuff, right? And just like, but it doesn't matter. Like Bird, like this thing we saw.
I mean, in all fairness, those guys actually have some talent. Schaub just was always playing a role as a comedian. Like, let's be honest, right? Like his specials, his work was not
You know what I feel like it
up
was?
to snuff.
I feel like Joe gave him the quality advice to stop fighting. And then I feel like after that, Joe probably gave him 10 more pieces of quality advice and Brendan took none of them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, I'm sure he was like,
Don't do a
the
special."
special. If you want to keep doing comedy, do it for another 5 years, hone your product. And I'm sure for every like weird giveaway or like
Yeah.
scammy thing he's done, Joe was
know
probably
what?
like, don't do that.
In Brendan's defense, he probably knew he was never going to be able to put out a special on his own, even 5 years from the day, So maybe you just take what you can. Like, what's the saying?
Make hay while the
shine-
sun is shining.
There
Yeah,
you go.
that's true. All right,
Maybe
I give
you can't
this.
get on him for that.
I give this a 2. Simon?
And that's the movie game.
2.5.
All right, that's an episode. If you made it this far, thank you so much.
What
Maybe.
did he give it?
Kumar, did you rate it?
I give it a 3.5.
I thought he rated it. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, well, that's a show. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Maybe you're willing to go a step further. If you want to support the show, you can do so for as little as $5 a month. Head over to patreon.com/JREE podcast. February, of course, will be sweeps month, where we will be doing our best to get to, 1,000 patrons. It's never going to happen. Who gives a shit? For that $5, you get the post show, the show we shoot the shit. You also get old episodes. This won't age well. The show we went back and listened to old episodes of Joe, did the same shit we do here. Moon debates. We might be garbage, all sorts of stuff. That's it. Thank you so much. We hope you have a lovely week. We hope you enjoy your weekend. And as usual,
Spread love. Keep your eyes open.